California, where the sun is out, the surf is up.
Oh, why are we indoors here, Rick?
And we are live from the Toyota Sports Center in Real Training Camp, Los Angeles, Lakers style. Check out those trophies. Alongside me, Hall of Famer Reggie Miller. I'm Rick Fox. He's back, Reggie, and he's excited.
The Mamba. I'm curious to see Kobe Bryant. Is he going to morph himself back into the Mamba?
But what do you think these guys are talking about there? I have to think that that's practice strategy.
Well, he's probably saying, where are you going to get me the ball, Coach?
And how many times, especially with some of the latest news. Obviously, injuries play an effect on this team already so far, and we'll get to those later on. But you have to be happy you played with Byron Scott. You have to think that good things are ahead for the Lakers again.
27 wins a year ago, last in the Pacific Division, the worst season that this Laker franchise has had since they came from Minneapolis. It'll be interesting to see Mitch Kupchak, who brought him in. All he's talking about is defense and winning championships. Yeah. He wants his team to be in better condition, a well-oiled machine. They were atrocious at the defensive end a season ago. The team shot 47% against the Lakers and scoring 109 points. Well, when you have a team that's in better shape, in better condition, that's 4 to 7 wins during the regular season. Come fourth quarter, if you can will yourself to a victory. Number 2, the top of the show, we saw Kobe Bryant. When you mentioned it, the Mamba's back. I want to see if he's going to have that explosive first step again. Now, from your point of view, what are you looking at?
Well, I'm obviously biased to this organization. Had a lot of success here, played and won championships with this gentleman here. So I'm extremely fired up about seeing how he looks today, coming back from a difficult season health-wise. But I want to talk to Mitch Kupchak. Mitch Kupchak, general managers for a number of years with championship success. He feels this is a championship-driven team this year.
Wow.
So I want to see firsthand what these guys look like, but also hear from him why he's so confident.
Well, it's good to say that when you know you've got arguably one of the top 10, in my opinion, top 15 players of all time on your roster in Kobe Bryant. Now, if Kobe can come back and show that brilliance that we all know that he's capable of, well, certainly they're a championship caliber team. I don't have them making the playoffs, but anything can happen. They've already, you mentioned it, injuries are a part of this game. They've already been dealt a huge blow with the Nick Young injury to his hand, so we'll see how that goes on. We have 2 hours full of nothing but Laker basketball, Rick.
I'm in heaven.
This is going to be unbelievable. We'll be back with more from Real Training Camp from El Segundo, California. Welcome back to the Toyota Sports Center here in Southern California. You're joining us for Real Training Camp, the Los Angeles Lakers. And is that all you there, Mr. Fox? Did you come over on your sailboat from your palatial estate?
Actually, my palatial estate. You're the one that lives in Malibu. I'm landlocked in Westwood. Hey, a Swaggy P or a Nick Young sighting, as they would say. Torn ligament in right hand Thursday. So the woes, unfortunately, continue here when it comes to the health department for the Los Angeles Lakers.
And everything I've been reading about training camp, as we look at the numbers for Swaggy P, 18 points a game last season, just under 28 minutes a game, and everything we've been hearing from Byron Scott and this coaching staff. Nick Young had an excellent chance of, and he still does, of being that 6th man of the year for the Los Angeles Lakers, but a huge, as you mentioned, setback, potentially out 6 to 8 weeks with that ligament damage to the right hand, supposedly supposed to have surgery on Monday. And now this is another offensive weapon that's down for the LA Lakers.
Yeah, and when we look at the scoring output that exited the team with Pau Gasol and Jody Meeks leaving the team to new destinations, Swaggy obviously found his niche for this team last year offensively, off the bench, but also in the fourth quarter. He ranked up there, and I think the top 5 in points in fourth quarter.
A little over 6 points in the fourth quarter for 6th best.
So, it's nice to see him actually still suited up here because, as Byron Scott, I'm sure will tell him, your hand may be hurt, but your legs still work, and we got some running to do.
Yeah, you might have injured your wrist, and we'll have surgery on Monday, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with your legs, your feet. You can still get out here and get some conditioning in.
And as a player, I'm sure you still want to be a part of the establishment of the chemistry and the flow of what this season's going to be about. But I'm sure at some point with the demands physically that's going on in training camp, I'm sure it crossed his mind for a second that he thought he might get out of some of this running.
It's been interesting because as we're watching the Los Angeles Lakers, you're joining us for real training camp LA Lakers. You see the smiles that the guys are going through during some of the stretching. I'm here to tell you people, and we heard this from the horse's mouth in head coach Byron Scott, those smiles will be erased here pretty soon because all they've been talking about is that he wants this team to be in better shape and in better condition. Last year, this team, he felt, and he had a front row seat. He was in the studio, calling games, and he had a chance to really look at this roster from top to bottom, and he felt that they weren't in great shape. Byron has always been one of those type of players. He played in unbelievable shape for the LA Lakers back in Showtime days.
In the Riley days when, the stories abound of how hard they conditioned and worked.
Yeah, he's a disciple of Pat Riley, practices legendary for 2.5, 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours, taped shoot-arounds.
And it isn't always as hard as, how long you go, it's how hard you go and what you can get out of a practice opportunity to actually to improve as well as condition. And I'm sure he took a lot from Pat over the years, and he's been able to take teams that when he stepped in have been in this very position, and that's the New Orleans team at the time he got there, and grew them, in the case of the Nets, to two NBA appearances, championship appearances, and also in New Orleans Coach of the Year, 2007, 2008. So he knows how to grow and mold young teams.
Well, we have 2 hours to obviously talk about everything in Lakerland. Let's kind of break down as we come back from break. We're going to talk about this roster, breakdown from the point guards to Kobe Bryant, obviously. This team wasn't great on the boards, but we'll get into all that when we get back. You're watching Real Training Camp LA Lakers. We'll be back.
Now, why is it important, hands up?
Well,
I think I know why, but what would you think?
Well, you play defense with your feet. And when you're tired, what do? You reach and you get fouls. So why not start most drills with your hands up, whether it's light jogging or running like they're doing right now. Keep your hands up. Practice the way you play.
That's right. And also, contested shots in this league are important. The percentages go up to 60s. When guys are shooting uncontested shots, they go down into the low 40s and below when you get a hand up. You can't get a hand up unless you're used to getting a hand up. And to your point, fatigue kicks in, the hands drop, you reach. And the game of basketball, as much space as you can cover is important.
Let's listen in to Byron Scott as he's barking out instructions here to his team.
There's Mark Madsen, former Los Angeles Laker, joining the coaching staff.
You can still practice a little bit.
The good thing about having a coach, too, that's a former player, 3-time champion, Byron Scott for the LA Lakers, is he understands this is the 7th training day practice for the LA Lakers. And they've gone through a few two-a-days, and he understands that guys' legs are tired, fatigued, that bear is starting to reach in and jump on your back when you get tired. So he's been through all those training camps. But he understands that he is not going to let up because of the high expectations. Remember, we're talking about a historic franchise here with the Lakers. 16 NBA titles. You look at all the banners when you go into the Staples Center of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jerry West, Magic Johnson.
Oh, it's all around you.
It's all around you. And he wants to bring this team and this franchise back to prominence.
And I thought that was important. I thought it was really important in the coaching hire that they find someone that understood that would, that the Laker fan base would connect to.
Right.
Because this is going to be a challenge ahead for this team. A young group of guys. But here's his resume when we look at it. 14 NBA seasons as a player. And some of that here in Los Angeles. So he understands the level of excellence. And then as a head coach, 13 seasons. 4 playoff appearances, and NBA Coach of the Year. So this is a guy that's won championships. You see him. You can see Gary Vitti and Byron Scott go all the way back to some of those championship successes. And you also see Byron's son.
Thomas Scott as assistant here as well. But, you talk about the championships here with the Lakers. I personally can attest to this. The reason why the Pacers are so successful is because of Byron Scott's leadership. He came in a midseason trade in 1994. And if you remember the first round of the playoffs versus Orlando, that huge shot he made in game 1 that catapulted us to the upset versus Shaq and Penny Hardaway, he gave us our confidence. And once he made that shot and we believed we could win on the road, the Indiana Pacers took off from 1994. And a lot of that was because of Byron Scott, his leadership in the locker room, his leadership on the floor. We all looked up to him. So it's an unbelievable and a fantastic hire by Mitch Kupchak and Jim Buss here with Lakers to bring in a guy, as you mentioned, that understands the sacrifice it takes to win championships.
Okay, they've been running now as a warm-up, and it just dawned on me with their hands up in the air.
Yeah.
Non-stop. It's been about 7, 8, 9 minutes. I think they may log about 2 miles before they stop. It looks that way. Clock's at 10 more minutes of this, it looks like. So, this is the conditioning.
Well, look, we didn't see a lot of this last year, and this is not to throw Mike D'Antoni underneath the bus, but we didn't see this level of conditioning last year from this Laker team.
Hey, if you have two passes.
And I think Byron Scott, his emphasis and everything we've been reading, the first 2 or 3 practices had nothing to do with the offense. It was all at the defensive end. And we're starting off this morning session all about conditioning right now.
And when we look at Steve Nash, his hands are still above his shoulders. But I see a lot of alligator arms. I see a lot of alligators around here.
And Rick, I'm going to tell you this: the alligator arms are coming from the bigs.
Yeah.
Because the guards are used to having their arms above their shoulders. The bigs aren't.
Yeah, so true. Now it's
somebody teach Rob how to karaoke.
At some point in time, we have Mitch Kupchak, who's getting ready to join us here to talk about this Laker roster.
Okay, all right.
So once we get back from break, we'll talk with the general manager of the LA Lakers, Mitch Kupchak, and talk about Byron Scott and what he sees in this upcoming season.
Much better than the last time. Get your hands up, Julian.
Welcome back to Real Training Camp. Let's take a listen to Steve Nash. He's mic'd up for us.
Pick it up. Pick up the pace now. Pick up the pace now. Hands up!
looks like Steve's getting a little lapping in there. Lapping some of the big guys.
Hello, everyone. I'm Reggie Miller alongside Rick Fox. We're joined by General Manager Mitch Kupchak. And Mitch, Rick and I, we've been talking about this. There's a lot of huffing and puffing going on. Seems like you got the right man for the job in bringing in Byron Scott. His first order of business was to get this team in better shape, and it looked like he started here in training camp.
Well, I think from the get-go he's set the tone.
Right.
And, from his press conference back at the end of July, he made it clear that he was going to hold players accountable. And his experience as a coach he's going to bring to this training camp, and he's going to coach a certain way, and he's going to expect the players, to participate. The key thing so far for us is our three veterans, our older veterans, Kobe, Steve Nash, and Carlos Boozer. They've all bought in, and if they buy in, everybody else has to buy in.
Mitch, I could make the argument or the case that you've actually set the tone. Recently, your comments have made it very clear the focus of this season, which is championship basketball, as it should be for everyone right now at the start of the season. Right. What is it that you see now or saw throughout the course of the offseason, putting this team together, that gave you the confidence to make a strong statement?
Well, let me make one distinction.
Yeah.
I did not predict, that we're going to win the championship.
Right.
What I said is really what I think every general manager and every coach and every NBA team should think when they start a season. Our goal is always to win a championship. And certainly that's the way it's been here in Los Angeles. So that's a major distinction for me. I do believe, that this team can win a bunch of games. Staying healthy is the key. Starts with Kobe, Steve Nash, and once again, Carlos Boozer. We have a nice mix of players that have some experience in the NBA. Guys like Jeremy Lin, Jordan Hill, Nick Young, who got hurt yesterday. And then we have some young players, too. So it's a good mix of players, and our goal, as always, is to win a championship.
You talk about the veteran leadership, and health is going to certainly play a huge role with this team. What have you seen in Kobe a year ago, only 6 games? Steve Nash a year ago, only 15 games. Those two guys in particular, what have you seen early on in training camp?
Well, the big difference, clearly, is that they're both participating in training camp. Last year, Kobe did not participate fully. He was just coming back, from his Achilles tear, and that's a process. And he pushed and he pushed and he pushed, and he came back in January. He played 6 games. Steve Nash was a partial participant in training camp last year. And I don't see any wood nearby. If I did, I'd knock on it. But right now, they have both played every practice, with the exception of the practices that Byron gave them off in the evening. So that's the major difference. They both have 28 days to get ready for the first game, whereas a year ago they did not.
Looking towards the start of the season here, Mitch, style of play, definite shift from the Mike D'Antoni style, up-tempo.
Right.
Do you have a sense, can you share a sense of what your conversations with Byron have been about when it comes to style of play?
Yeah, I think you'll see a little bit of both. Kobe, when he's in the game, is going to control the tempo. And he was never a guy that got out and filled a lane, although clearly he was a much better athlete 10 years ago than he is today. So you'll see, I think, him controlling the tempo. He'll go to certain spots on the court that he's comfortable at. He'll have the ball in his hands a lot. And then when we shift to like a Jeremy Lin, I think you'll see up and down tempo. Jeremy really likes to get out and, push the ball, get into the paint, find somebody's open, or try to finish.
How do you think Jeremy Lin, you just mentioned him, I think this is going to be a great opportunity for him. He was a burst-out star, obviously, in New York. He goes to Houston. James Harden kind of dominates the ball and kind of takes it out of his hand a little bit. But he comes into a situation here where he's probably going to be backing up Steve Nash, can learn from a Hall of Fame type player.
Right.
But you mentioned that second unit with a healthy Nick Young. Those young guys can really get out and cause a lot of damage to a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know who's going to start and who's not going to start, so I can't say who's in the second unit.
Right.
But clearly, to date, it's Steve Nash, Kobe, I think Nick, Jordan, and Carlos, I think, have been in the starting 5. And if Jeremy is in that second group, you will see that. You'll see him get out. You'll see him push the ball. His last 2+ years in the NBA, starting, I guess, with the game against us in New York 2 years ago when he had 38 or 39, he kind of took the NBA by storm. Right. And sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's not. He got a nice contract, went to Houston, Golden State, New York, Houston. So he's kind of bounced around a little bit. We're hoping that he finds a home here.
Rebounding and turnovers, 2 things this team was deficient in. How are you guys planning on controlling the paint from that standpoint?
Well, we don't have a lot of great size, but we do have 6 players who have good size, 6'10", or thereabouts. We don't have that 7'1" guy. 4 years ago we had 2. We had Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum. So we don't have that. So Coach, is going to have to, find the guys that protect the paint. Defensively, which is really what they've been focusing on since day one here, it has to be crystal clear. Where we're forcing, where the help comes from, because we really don't have big rim protectors. I think if we got 2 guys that can test shots, one would be Ed Davis, and the other one would be Jordan Hill. Other than that, it's going to have to be position defense and everybody helping each other.
Well, Mitch, we appreciate you inviting us in. It's interesting because fans always want to see the inside, behind the veil, and everyone's talking about what does Steve Nash, what does Kobe look like, and today we get an opportunity to see that. So thank you so much for inviting us in.
You're welcome.
We'll be back with more Real Training Camp LA Lakers after this.
Welcome back to Southern California here at Real Training Camp Los Angeles as we fly over downtown LA in the Staples Center there. Reg, one Kobe Bryant choppered home from practice yesterday. That's balling.
This is balling. I mean, you know,
is that how you're going home tonight?
When you're one of the all-time greats, this is how you travel. And I wish I could get express to Malibu after this.
Speaking of Instagram, you think either of us could get an Instagram contract for about 15 seconds?
I think we can get about 15. We can get 15 seconds.
Hey, what we see here going on still is a lot of weaving and a lot of running. I guess you got to beweave.
It's another conditioning drill. They just finished the 3-man weave. Now they're doing it's a variation of the weave, but the guy in the middle who starts with the basketball has to touch Phil Pressey, the assistant coach's hands at the opposite end of the corner. Now they're going up and down. They started with just up and down. Now you got to go up, down twice. Again, it's another conditioning drill that Byron Scott has instituted here for the Lakers.
Well, in true form, the veteran Kobe Bryant obviously knows when the cameras are on and when they're off. We went to break, and he chastised a couple teammates who seemed to be hiding in certain lines.
Well, in particular, I think it was the rookie Julius Randle. And, again, this is all new to Julius Randle, the rookie from Kentucky, number 7 draft pick for the Lakers. You can't hide in certain corners. And you want your young best players to get out here and to get some of this early conditioning. When your best player at 36 years old is leading drills and winning drills, I don't know if that's a reason for concern, Rick, or
optimism.
Because your best player, obviously, you know, Kobe has the skill level, you know, probably we haven't seen since probably Michael Jordan.
Right.
But when he's winning and leading drills, and you've got an 18, 19-year-old rookie that's hiding in corners.
Yeah,
you got to call him out.
Yeah, you got to call him out, but also it gives you cause to be concerned because at this point now, either these players are afraid to beat Kobe because they don't want, don't want him coming back at him, or they're just not in the type of shape that Kobe's in. Which, like I said, and you said, at 36 years old. I think there's got to be a couple guys here that can outrun Kobe.
Well, there's something that's always separated Kobe. And you played with them, and I played against them, and obviously that's my position at shooting guard. One thing Kobe has always done, he kept himself in the lab. He was never out in the clubs in Hollywood or wherever partying. Kobe was always in the lab working on his game, his footwork, his jump shots, his post game, his defense. And I think that's what separated and why, I say he's a top 10 player of all time. Certainly you could make a case, if you say top 10, come on, Rich. Certainly Kobe's in the top 15 of all time of greatest players ever. There's a reason why. And we're talking about conditioning.
Yeah.
And the rookie misses the lay-in right there. And, this is why Kobe's calling him to the carpet. You got to be held accountable.
That's going to reset that drill. For sure.
You can't miss layups. When you're tired, when you're fatigued, that's when you start to shortchange those layups. And we just saw that from the rookie Julius Randle.
We got to see another look at Wesley Johnson, a young man who was signed as a free agent again to return here to Los Angeles. He was smart enough and took Kobe's invitation, invited him to actually come and work with him this summer. And we saw
he's
right
dead.
there.
Look at the rookie. Yeah. Julius Randle is.
And Kobe knows that this young man looks up to him, and Kobe's going to stay on him, stay in his ear, challenge him to raise his level from a college basketball player to a professional basketball player.
Rick, there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism, and a lot of times, you hear stories of Michael Jordan being a taskmaster
Good run, Ronnie.
with some of his teammates in Chicago, and Kobe being a lot of the same here in Los Angeles. It's all about making your teammates better, raising their level of play, and trying to get them the maximum effort out. And that's all Kobe Bryant is doing with Julius Randle. He's not out here trying to demean him. He wants it. Look, I guarantee you this.
Here we go.
Julius Randle has never been pushed the way Kobe Bryant is going to push him.
That's right.
Ever.
That's right.
Ever.
And he should welcome that. As a young player entering this league, you want to be a part of and surrounded by individuals like Byron Scott, individuals like Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash. My rookie season, I came into the league, I was Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish as rookie.
Man.
I could not have had a better situation to learn from foundationally how to go about being a professional, how to set myself up for a practice, how to conduct myself in practice. And I think that set the foundation for
and that resets the drill.
That resets the drill.
Pass out of bounds. Lazy pass there by the rookie second-round pick, Jordan Clarkson, to Jeremy Tyler. Resets the drill.
And this is how chemistry is built, too, because now, as teammates, you rely on each other to deliver a pass.
And, Rick, we share a common goal, a common bond.
Yeah.
We're all tired. We're all out here running it. And we're going to listen in to head coach Byron Scott as he resets the drill here. He's going to give the guys a water break here. I'm going to say they've been running nonstop since
we started.
11 40 o'clock, 40 minutes straight.
This is the first
conditioning.
Break. First break.
Running.
Look at this. Guess who's not taking a water break?
Down here with the bigs. Yeah.
Guess who's not taking a water break? I'm not surprised.
And West.
There you go.
Right?
Kobe might take off and run another down, back, down, back.
So you got
either that or he's going for the body armor.
Kobe being 3, Rob 4,
changing shoes.
Ed 5, Julius 6.
See, that's
Roscoe
another thing
7.
too. You know, when Kobe doesn't take water breaks, see, there's other teams that are watching this too, right? And they're watching what one of the greatest of all time has ever done. He's not taking water breaks, changing his shoes, getting ready for the next drill, whatever Byron Scott's going to have ready.
It loosened up.
Let's listen in to Byron right now.
Said he felt it.
Get some water.
But it's called a minute drill, but it's going a minute and a half.
Yeah, I'm not the smartest man in the world. It's not quite the truth.
Kill him.
He was.
Exactly.
Striking difference, though, in the faces during the easy run.
Much better, huh?
Yeah, much better. I
mean, much better.
Yeah.
Which is good.
They had some in the tank even when they were finished.
Yeah. It was good.
That was good.
We out here like dogs.
Defense running back to the left, a whole bunch again. He's in great shape, unbelievable.
Here we go.
I like what Coach Jeremiah is saying there.
Down
you
here.
can see, in most players, they always have a reserve tank. We always have a reserve tank. You know when your tank is empty. Yep. And these coaches can tell that these guys have gone to their second and third tanks in terms of conditioning.
It's starting to show up. Seventh practice in. Body, especially in a training camp environment, you know, the first few days, no matter how hard you've worked in the off season, your body's going to get shocked, and awakened to this time of year. And it's that hump day, that fifth or sixth practice when you start to turn over and your
legs are so sore, your groin is so sore, you get out of bed and your lower back hurts, and it's all about these early conditioning drills that warms up the legs, the feet, the back, and get you going, that kind of moves you forward.
All right, guys, the same as we did the first day, all right? Minute drill, but it's going a minute and a half. All right, we should be better. Stay down, good defensive slide. Offensive player, make him work. All right? Here we go.
Who's starting each drill? Kobe Bryant at the defensive end.
Good closeouts, good closeouts, good closeouts.
Oh, there we go. So this is all about setting the stage and the tone for the defensive end of the floor.
And look at Kobe Bryant. You got to go through all these guys defensively.
Good, Jay.
This is his third guy guarding Jordan Hill here at up to the half-court line. And now he's going back at the defensive posture guarding Jeremy Tyler.
This is not necessarily a ball-handling drill for Jeremy, as we see. Big guys usually not accustomed to handling the ball against guards, but defensively, this team was this team was deficient defensively. Kobe Bryant, as a proficient defensive player over the course of his career, is now challenged to have to guard some of these guards with, obviously
quickness. Yeah, and then remember, he's coming off a broken bone in his knee and the Achilles injury. And he's starting to feel it here. Look how tired he's getting. This is his fifth guy now he's guarding at the defensive end. Again, this is a 36-year-old guy.
He's feeling it.
Out here leading this. See, when your best player is out here doing this,
go Kobe, go Kobe.
Sets the tone.
It sets the tone. Rick, this sets the tone.
Good. Keep going. Throw it back.
And what we noticed with,
good job, next guy.
With age.
Job. Hold on, hold.
That's a minute and a half of pure defense right there.
On the whistle.
See, and normally, right now this is Ed Davis
Wesley, good. Throw it back.
out of North
Good
Carolina,
close out.
who's
Good
at the
close out.
defensive end. You're usually good your first two guys.
Yeah, right.
Kobe looked great, those first two guys.
Good.
Now, once it's, excuse me, that's Wesley Johnson.
Right.
Not Ed Davis. Wesley Johnson at the defensive end here, right in front of us.
And what we see from Wesley,
Good, Wes. Good,
from my
Wes,
eyes,
Wes. Throw it back.
there's a lot of potential defensively here to cover, two guards all the way down to power forwards. He has the length, the height, the size, the
Good
quickness.
close out. Good close out.
Well, now remember, he was playing out of position last year in
Yes.
D'Antoni's system.
Yes,
was
he was.
playing the stretch four. Now I think Byron Scott's going to bring him back to his natural position, that small forward. I guess, Mitch Kupchak didn't want to commit to the starting lineup, but I think right now it's Steve Nash at point guard, Kobe Bryant at shooting guard. Wesley Johnson right now is slated in to be that small forward. So he goes back to his natural position at 6'7", 6'8". Look at the arm length that he has.
Yes.
He can shoot the basketball with range.
Good.
Probably go with Carlos Boozer, who just dribbled the basketball to half court.
Starting to get that Kobe Bryant face too now.
So here it comes. Now,
This is where the last
see how
30
quick he was
seconds.
on the first two, and now the bear is starting to jump on the back here. This is a minute and a half defensive drill. You've got to go through each guy in your line defensively, guarding them to half court.
Well, I think it'll get interesting here as the big guys. The young fella here, Julius Randles. And Kobe has recharged his battery. And what we see from young players defensively is still developing the understanding of how to move intelligently defensively, not reaching, sliding your feet instead of bobbing up and down. Coaches in our day and age, you play 4 years in college, they usually break you of those bad habits defensively. Step slide is a lot different than step bob. You will get blown by in this league if you stand up defensively and hop around. So I definitely think Byron is executing these drills to make sure these guys create stamina to be able to sit down in a defensive stance for more than 24/7.
I'll be curious to see as Julius Randles goes through this defensive drill. As we look at his bio here, the 7th overall pick, 15 and 10, double-double in Kentucky. Took him to the national championship game where they lost to UConn. But he's not in the best of shape here. And most rookies, they don't know how to prepare for training camp because they've never been through a situation like this where they've got to max their body, Rick.
No, they haven't. And he's, this is going to make him stronger right here.
Look at that.
That's a complete blow-by.
That's a complete blow-by. There's the bear. The bear's creeping in.
And as he progresses, the 15 and 10 in college, the double-doubles, he played he had an advantage physically.
That's the gas face. There's the gas face right there.
Ooh,
there from
third
Kobe
base. Not a third base reference.
There's the gas face right there.
But as he progresses and he brings his size and strength, which played to his advantage in college, you made this point earlier, Reggie, off air. He's now among other men, built like Carlos Boozer, built like Robert Sacre. These individuals aren't, they're not going to shy away from his physicality. If anything.
And the size Julius Randle is now, I guarantee you he was at a senior in high school, and he was at last year in Kentucky.
He sure was.
And you just mentioned it. Now, with the Robert Sacres, the Anthony Davis of the world from New Orleans, the Blake Griffins, the crosstown rival Clippers, these are guys that can match up with his size, his physicality, be able to utilize his quickness.
And I don't see him entering this season and dominating at the power forward position. And I think eventually, as he stretches his skills facing the basket, develops more of a consistent jump shot, he'll have greater success in a small forward capacity.
And how about Nick Young, Swaggy P? We got the ligament damage in his right hand. Going to have surgery on Monday. But guess what, Rick? There's nothing wrong with your legs, right?
He might be the best in shape person ever going into surgery. But this is important because, look, he'll be out for, and we can speculate, the Lakers have not announced a specific timetable yet, nor will they. We've seen reports of 6 to 8 weeks based on ligament tears. It is in his right hand, which is his shooting hand. But I suspect they'll continue that conditioning as he's out, whether it's on the sideline, whether it's running drills. Whether it's running dummy offense, he's not going to be sitting over here with the likes of us while they're continuing to grow as a team.
And think about this. Nick Young last year, who led the Lakers in scoring at 18 points. That's the first time since someone other than the name of Kobe Bryant or Shaquille O'Neal has led this team in scoring. That's how far back that goes.
Right, and as we were looking at earlier on, where the scoring is going to come from. Well, obviously Kobe Bryant returns. We don't know what that output will look like. We suspect it'll be in the 20s. But the absence of now Nick Young to start the season with an injury, Pau Gasol in Chicago, Jody Meeks in Detroit, Bazemore in Atlanta. There's a lot of offensive punch that they have to fill. And when we look at potential players that can fill that, Carlos Boozer is one, someone that's scored consistently throughout the course of his career in the paint.
But coming off season lows in Chicago at the offensive end in scoring as well as rebounding. Steve Nash coming off season lows in assists and scoring since his rookie season.
Yeah.
And with, you mentioned it, Nick Young going down possibly for 2 months because of the wrist injury. This all shifts back to how we opened the show, talking about Kobe Bryant. A lot of pressure now back on Kobe to put points on the board.
And he's back, but how much does he have to be back? And
with not another viable scorer on the floor to take pressure off him, it's like the third and fourth and fifth hitters in baseball. They all protect one another. When you have a Mike Trout, when you have an Albert Pujols behind him,
right.
You got to pitch them. You can't walk them because you have Pujols coming up. Well, if Nick Young is not on the floor alongside Kobe Bryant, I mean, there's not a lot of protection out there.
No. And when we look at this, the first 5 games of the season, just even out the gate, the tempo and scoring is proficient from Houston, Phoenix, Clippers, Golden State, and Phoenix again. These are all teams that will put 110 points on the board, I would think, effortlessly.
Yeah.
And so, to match that, they're going to have to either control the tempo and bring that game into a 90-plus, 95-point range, and then the defense has to improve.
11 of the first 13 Laker games are against teams that were a plus 500 from a season ago. So we'll get more of that when we come back. You are watching Real Training Camp LA Lakers. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back to Real Training Camp LA Lakers. Rick, you mentioned it. The first 5 games here for the Lakers, very challenging. Start off on TNT, opening night, the 28th, versus James Harden, Dwight Howard, and the Rockets. But all those teams are plus 500 from a season ago.
They sure are, all playoff teams, and, well, outside the Suns, they were close. But when you think of the style of play, it definitely suits for up-tempo approach of what the Lakers played at last year, a really high level of possessions, and so there's some players here that can handle that. They'll be in shape enough to get up and down the floor with these guys based on what we're watching here. It's will they be able to defend and improve that aspect of the floor, because
everybody down here, let's go.
A lot of scoring will be missed in the absence of some of the players that have left, and some of the guys now with Nick Young that are hurt.
Listen up for your team.
Let's hear what Byron Scott has in store for these guys next.
And as they switch drills here, you didn't see Steve Nash in that one-on-one drill. From everything we're hearing, he tweaked his ankle. He's in the back getting some treatment on it, and hopefully we'll see if he comes back out.
You got blue and white out first.
But that was the reason why you didn't see Steve Nash out there on those one-on-one drills.
4 on 4, though, not 5. So I need 4.
Let's listen in to head coach Byron Scott.
Okay, 4 on 4. 2 elbows, 2 wings.
Defense, you got to talk now.
What you guys want? Blue, what you want? Defense or offense? Okay. I got you, Press. All right, we're going this way. Just remember our principles. We get back in the triangle, okay? If it goes either way, Big, you got first pass. Trailer guy, you're going weak. Pick up and play basketball, and then on the other end, the same thing, all right? Here we go. Let's go.
So for those of you that thought the triangle was dead,
Rebound. Good shot. Let's go.
we heard the first reference to a triangle, not so much a triangle offense, but triangle principles on the defensive end, getting back, stopping the ball, forming a defensive presence when you're undermanned and under attack.
Rebound. Good job. Good job both ways. Switch it up.
And the theme continues. Defense.
And
Green, you on
for
those.
those of you who are starting to look at this drill right here and think this is an offensive drill, it's not. It's more of a defensive drill.
Good job, guys. When the shot goes
Transition
up,
defense
finding the
at
body and
one
putting it on
end
him and
because one
rebound the
guy's
ball.
sacrificing himself
It'll be
has
huge
to
for
touch
us.
the
Let's go.
baseline. It gives the offensive team numbers, whereas the three remaining defensive guys have to find that
Come
nice
on, Julius,
move
gotta
there by
get there.
Jeremy Tyler. They got to get back and try to
Gotta
form
get
a
there,
wall
Julius.
to stop that.
And that's exactly why you run this drill. Jeremy gets to the rim and finishes with a dunk, and
Rebound.
the triangle then broke down.
Switch it up.
So someone
I got
should have
ball.
shut that off. You give
Juju.
up a jump shot
See
before
that
you give
drive.
up a
You gotta
layup.
get there. Can't wait. Let's go.
Nice pass there by Kobe. So you get the best of both worlds out here. You get to work on transition
Good pass.
defense
Rebound. Rebound.
and that
Good job.
bond you talked about from
Switch it up
guys
again.
when it's
One more
the
time.
offensive team
4 on
has
4.
numbers
One more time.
4-3, trying to be able to stop the offensive team. And we talked about the triangle principles and the chin. You'll see a lot of that if they ever do get into their offensive set. Remember, Byron Scott ran a lot of that chin action in New Jersey with Jason Kidd. The Princeton
Don't leave corner.
slash
Show your help and get right back to
triangle
it.
type stuff.
Make it move, guys.
Two ball
Make it
handlers
move.
out top.
That's great. Good. Good.
What makes this a
All day.
success defensively?
That's all right.
A
Great
jump
pass.
shot
Good
is the best shot the
Switch it
opponent
up.
gets. If you can get
Same
your
thing,
trailer
4 on
back in
4.
time, and you get 4 and 4, and you hold down the fort until that fourth guy gets in.
Here we go.
And it's all about communication. See, Jeremy Lin needs to start screaming out instructions. I got it right. I got it right.
Good,
I got the
good,
point guard.
good.
You need one shot in the
Rebound,
box out,
rebound.
and you hear Byron
Push it back,
Scott
push
screaming
it back.
rebound, something they have to get better at as well. As Mitch Kupchak mentioned, they're not a big team. They're going to have to group.
Yeah, they don't have a
Team
shot
rebound.
blocker.
Good
They don't
job,
have a
man.
guy that's going to
Keep playing,
get
keep
you
playing.
14 to 18 rebounds a night.
one.
So it's going to have to be
Switch it up.
rebound by committee. I think
All right,
Kobe
we're going
Bryant
5.
has
Going
always
5.
been a great rebounding
Okay,
guard.
going
He's going to
5.
have to get back and get 6 to
Come on, Green.
7 or 8. And your point guards are going to have
No,
to
I'm
get
sorry. Go
you,
forward this
4 or
last one.
5.
So we get back to
Jordan
the
Hill,
booth.
we haven't talked about him a
Still
lot.
4 right here.
Looking
All right.
at his body,
Here we go.
he looks fantastic. He looks like he's in much better shape. He's going to be the starting
Go run it. Way to run. West
center
End.
for this team.
Way to run.
And we know that what he can do at the defensive end, but if he can get you a double digit on a consistent basis rebounding night, that will help.
There you go. Good. Rebound.
Well, I didn't understand last year.
Good shot. Here
He
we go.
would play
5, guys.
20, 24 minutes.
Here we go.
I thought he could have logged a lot more. But in that style of play, he's not really in a stretch 4. So when you have Pau Gasol on the floor, Pau was pretty much that center position.
Right.
But he's going to have to be that rebounding presence, which he's capable of doing. I think he can average a double-double for this team. He'll have to.
Here we go.
And control that paint defensively, contest shots.
Well, he changed his lifestyle. And gone is the fast
That
food
is right there.
and other things he was putting into his body. And he's gone to more of a healthy type living arrangement. And he's dropped some weight. He feels that he has more energy, which is probably the most important thing, especially for a big. You've got to be
I got ball.
energetic, and you've got to be able
Booze,
to
that
get up
last
multiple
one,
times,
okay? Ball
jumping
hit the
for
wing.
rebounding, and
That's
be
gonna be your
active.
tape.
And he has that now.
You stayed low because Kobe came all the way over. He was getting yours. Yep. All right. Here we go. Again, guys, don't give up open shots. We can't give up open shots. Contested shots, I'm good with. Mismatches, I'm good with. No open shots. All right. Here we go.
5 on 4 now.
Get
You
back,
see,
get back.
the drill has now evolved to a situation you'd see in a game.
Let's go. Let's go.
5 on 4
Hey,
push.
drag it, Ed. Drag it.
Matching up, you hear Byron Scott mention he doesn't care about mismatches, guards on big men on guards, pick up a guy. If the opponent gets a shot, get a hand up, contest it, and then give one
We
shot.
talked about this earlier. Try to
Listening
come
to
through.
head coach Byron Scott.
He can get to it. He turns the corner. You gotta help. Kicked it. Somebody's got to stunt to his man. He'll get back to him, but somebody's got to help him. All right? Hold up.
Something Byron Scott and this coaching staff really has been harping on is no contested shot. And this goes, we're talking about the Pat Riley tree.
Yep.
He never wanted to give up a wide open shot.
Let's go. Let's push
Always want to contest shots, get a hand in shooter's face, and make things very difficult. That's why he can live with a lot of the mistakes defensively, but he can't live with giving up a uncontested wide open shots.
And it's the era of basketball that we're in. When you think of the teams that have been extremely successful in the regular season, the style of play is push the ball, get it up, get it open. You see a lot more frequently. You see quicker shots taken because they're open shots. You have guys shooting high percentages in transition. So that's why it puts the onus on defensive-oriented teams, which this team is saying they're going to be, to pick up in transition, to get back,
drag it,
and to get a hand up.
Good challenge. Rebound.
There's good contest.
Good job. I got ball.
Someone's mic is tired. Is that Jeremy Lin?
That's Jeremy Lin. And he's supposed to be one of the guys in better shape. So
hey, get back,
you can imagine
I'm here.
what some of the bigs are feeling right now. Jeremy Lin is huffing and puffing like this.
And then you got Jeremy boxing out a big guy. And that's the mismatch that Byron talks about. He doesn't care about that defensively. Pick up a man, put a body on him, keep him out of the lane.
Keep swinging it.
That's a nice move there by the rookie, Julius Randle.
Move the ball.
Wasn't able to get the basket to go, but the left-hander going right got cut off there by Robert Sacre and was able to get a pretty decent look at the rim.
Bring it back here then. Ball up top. No, just play.
So that's pretty quick recovery from Jeremy. If you hear right there, we were listening to his mic. Just up and down a couple times. And obviously pretty winded. Now he's recharged already.
And you would figure, nice pass there by Kobe Bryant down low to Jordan Hill. You would expect that from your point guard.
Yeah.
It's all about being able to recover quickly. And most guards can do that. And it shows you what type of shape Jeremy Lin is in. And this is the guy that's going to be expected, especially with Nick Young being out possibly up to 2 months with surgery on his right ligament of his shooting hand. Well, this is a chance for Jeremy Lin, backing up Steve Nash at that point guard position.
Here we go, off the glass.
And we see Gary Vitti,
blue, white,
who may have been in the training room dealing with Steve Nash. So if he's out here, maybe it's not as serious as
match-up play basketball.
The Lakers may fear.
Remember, Steve Nash, 40 years old.
Rebound!
Love all the drills these are old school drills that Byron Scott is bringing here to the Lakers. Rebounding drill. I mean, Kobe Bryant is throwing some dimes out here in practice. My goodness.
Well, I think until he's probably 7 years old, he'll always have the mind of one of the greats from the shoulders up. That never goes away.
Absolutely.
You know, the vision is something that
took a shot to the face there from the rookie Jordan Clarkson.
Balls up top. Balls up top.
You think this is going to stop Kobe, Rick? Think about it. Think about all the wars he's been through.
All right, here we go. Play.
Oh, boy.
Good, Ronnie. Good. We side. Good.
You hear the barking orders from Byron Scott talking about the weak side. You know what everyone does on the strong side. Julius Randle has shown a nice shooting touch facing the basket, Rick.
Yeah, it's aggressive.
Yeah.
Not shy.
Here we go.
Made an attacking move, an aggressive move to get to the rim a second ago.
Off the glass.
Had an opportunity there. Triple threat position, jab step, was open, confidently shot it.
Who got ball? Julius. 1-0, Julius. Bring it back.
But then we go to the defensive end where the breakdown there from Julius.
And what I'm liking with Byron Scott, he's not letting the play linger or develop on. bring them back. Let's start from scratch and do it again.
Well, that's how you develop the right habits.
Yes.
You guys got it?
Instantly, you pick up.
Absolutely.
If you continue to do things the right, you said it earlier. You play out, you practice.
So
You practice.
somebody open. Hopefully, he's the guy on the farthest guy away. All right, but when he throws it in, we got to get matched up quick. So you got to talk. Let's go. Rebound. Brings on offense.
Attention to detail.
Play. No middle. Rebound. Let's go. Keep running. Rebound. Still playing. Hey, JJ, where's time? We need that clock, the shot clock.
Julius Randle again.
Off the glass.
Reggie,
a lot of people didn't think he had a face-up game like this. We've seen back-to-back baskets of 15 to 18 feet jumpers by Julius Randle.
Short. It's interesting. Yeah, I got a chance to interview him before the draft, and I was really impressed with his maturity level for his age. So I was confident that he would be able to make that transition.
Somebody got to take ball. Here we go. Somebody got to take ball.
You know, it's interesting too, Rick.
5 seconds, you're
in young players, and especially a rookie, and we talked about the bear jumping on their back when they get fatigued. Usually your legs are the first to go when you're a young player because you're not used to the amount of running in an NBA training camp. And when your legs go, that means you don't get any lift on your jump shot.
Right.
We've seen pretty good lift from Julius Randle on those last two offensive possessions by him.
Now match up.
I think you drafted the 7th pick in the first round. I would venture to guess you come with a certain air of confidence.
Yeah.
Coming from the Kentucky program, and he's won championships in high school. Fell just short in Kentucky, but made it to the Final Four.
And if he hadn't gone to Kentucky, a lot of people were talking about him being the number 1 pick. And there was a lot of things that came up during his one season at Kentucky. He had foot issues, and maybe that was one of the reasons why he slid to number 7.
Good job.
Looks like Byron Scott's going to break for a water, and we'll take a break here as well. You're watching Real Training Camp, LA Lakers. Rick Fox and I will be back. Welcome back to Real Training Camp.
You thirsty, Reg?
I am. I can't believe Kobe Bryant, all the amount of running he has done, he still has not gone over and gotten anything to drink when his teammates are having big gulps out here.
They sure are. But that's just the reserve. You know, you talk about reserve in the tank. And his tank's just bigger, man. His tank is just bigger.
You're watching Real Training Camp, LA Lakers. I'm Reggie Miller alongside Rick Fox. And for the first hour here, it's been all about the defense and more so the conditioning of head coach Byron Scott and the LA Lakers.
And I ask you this, Reg, if you were watching this as a player around the league or coaching staff around the league and you're getting a chance to scout the Lakers right now based on personnel and how they're responding to Byron Scott, is there an advantage in any way to actually
all right, guys, first we'll
alert
go
the league
4-4.
that this is what you're about this year?
Give me 4 whites, give me 4 blues. Let's go.
Well, a quick answer would be no, but I'll expand on that after
White,
we
I need
hear
another
what
one in the corner.
Head coach Byron Scott instructs.
All right, blues, you got
troops.
6 instead of 4. All right. No, you good. Yeah, 4. 4 right now. Hey, everything we've been working on, all right? We're going to go right from the start. So once we swing it around, we're going to set our pin down so we let the guy open and getting through, getting up towards the nail. We got baseline drive. Again, we got to see that. Baseline guy, you got to get there, close it off. We being back, ball comes out. All right? We'll go a couple of times, then I'm going to say live, then you just play. All right? Here we go.
What they're doing now, this is called the 4-on-4 shell drill. Defensively, you get active hands, guys talking. The offensive team will drive baseline. You want the weak side defender to rotate all the way across the paint and stop the offensive player from getting into the paint. This is the 4-on-4 shell drill.
Good.
And now when he goes live, that's the shots you hope the opponent takes. You don't want to
We're going to go a defensive game.
give uncontested layups. You want to keep
White's on
them
defense now.
on the
All
perimeter.
right, Blue, you on offense. You got to get stops to get the defense, to get scores. So we're going to 5-point defensive game. All right? 5-point defensive game. Okay? Here we go.
I'm here.
No, none.
And now they're playing a 5-point game, and you get rewarded basically for stops. Not making the offense doesn't get rewarded for making a basket.
Hey, get low.
This
You get
is
low.
all
Get
about
low.
the defensive end. You get a stop, you get a point.
That's one stop.
Let's take a listen to Jeremy Lin, who's mic'd up here defensively. See if he's talking as much as.
And usually your point guard should be one of your most vocal players out here. A lot of heavy breathing though, Rick.
Yeah. You just checked out.
Hey, stay right here. Hey, no, not you, JC. But it don't matter because they're all going to get switched, so don't worry about who you start off on. Because with all the rotations, like watch this. Yeah, Roscoe will end up on everybody. You don't know what to do.
Again, if you're just tuning in and you don't see 40-year-old Steve Nash out on the floor, tweaked his ankle early on during practice, is still back in the training room getting treatment. Don't know if he'll be back out to finish practice or not, but that was the initial word we heard from trainer Gary Vitti.
You've noticed not everyone is mic'd up, but it sounds like it, and that's good. That's when the communication and the defense of teams starts to grow chemistry-wise. Look at this matchup here, young fella on Kobe Bryant.
How about the block out there by Kobe Bryant? Shooting guard versus the power forward, giving up about 40, 50 pounds.
Good shot.
Two really long, deep jumpers that have been made. Contested. That's what you want. It still is the NBA. Guys make shots.
Hey, ball. I'm on your left. Drop. I'm ball. Nail.
I'm liking what I'm hearing from Jeremy Lin right here. Jeremy Lin mic'd up. Let's listen in.
I'm here. Shot!
Hello, young fella. Julius Randle had to smile at that.
Don't feel bad, Julius. I've gotten a lot of those from Kobe too.
Yeah. That would make two of us.
It's okay.
Or three of us in that case. Therein lies the matchup for the young fella. Been waiting for that for years, probably.
Well, he dreamed. His favorite team growing up was the LA Lakers, and his favorite player was the guy who just tattooed him right between the eyes in Kobe Bryant. So if you're Julius Randle, you couldn't have fell into a better position playing for such a historic franchise in the LA Lakers.
Over top.
Oh, what a pass there by Jeremy Lin. Nice fake.
Hey!
Contested shot. Jeremy thinks Kobe got him on the arm.
You can't call. Come on.
Yeah, Jeremy, good luck with that one.
There's another player, everything we've been reading about their training camp.
We'll interchange anyway.
Who's at the defensive end up top now for the Lakers, Ronnie Price. Listening to Byron Scott, Ronnie Price has probably been the biggest surprise here in training camp. The 9-year vet has played with a number of teams, but came into camp in unbelievable shape. Byron Scott says he's been a bulldog at the defensive end as he just gets scored over by Jordan Clarkson, but been one of those guys that's been, you always have those type of guys that are surprises during camp. And Ronnie Price has been one of those surprises for the Lakers.
Here we go.
With Nick Young going down, a number of individuals in that backcourt. Wayne Ellington, Ronnie Price, Jordan.
Good talk, your boy.
Young rookie, you're going to get opportunities.
And it's an insurance policy for the Lakers. Obviously, Steve Nash, he already tweaked his ankle, hasn't been out here for the practice. You have Jeremy Lin as the backup. Now you have Ronnie Price, who's been playing fantastic. So I think it's going to be Mitch Kupchak's probably vision to keep a third point guard on this roster because of the injuries and, you know, only 15 games a season ago for Steve Nash.
Right.
Here we go.
See Jim Buss to the left of Mitch Kupchak. Watching practice.
Good talk, ED.
Play.
There you go. There you go.
Short.
Yeah, okay.
Reed White. I got ball.
So the young fella having a conversation with Kobe?
And Kobe told him he fouled him.
White, you got to stop. 3.
And probably in a regular situation, a rookie versus Kobe Bryant, he would get that call.
Ball.
He would have got that call.
Ball. Nail. I see. Be back.
And this is where I think Julius has to go. He has to be able to guard
Left. I got it.
small forwards for this team.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Because that gives them an advantage.
Yeah.
Put 8 on the shot clock.
Because if you can find a way to, and now remember, you're not going to have to guard them for more than 7 seconds.
Exactly.
If you can guard a small forward and then, fish them to help, 4 to 6 seconds, you've done your job. I'm not asking you to pick up LeBron James full court, But in the half-court situation, if you can keep LeBron in front of you and then hopefully get your team defense set.
Don't let me.
So many of today's small forwards play physically like power forwards. In other words, they have the skill of a guard, but the physicality of LeBron, Carmelo's. These guys are 6'8".
Yeah.
LeBron lost some weight, but still, him losing weight leaves him at 250.
Right.
So that's a lot of muscle and a lot of weight to have to get in front of and control. So you see Julius Randle's body is built like a power forward.
Julius.
If he can move his feet like a small forward, that's where he gains his advantage. We just watched Kobe Bryant knock down another jump shot. And Rick, something I've been noticing with Kobe, everyone's talking at 36, 2 major injuries the last 2 years. Nice hustle there by Ronnie Price. That's why he's standing out, getting on the floor here in training camp.
Yep.
Looking at Kobe Bryant, one thing that will never leave you, and I've always said this about Kobe, he probably has the best footwork of any shooting guard since Michael Jordan. And when you have mechanics like that, and we talked about him staying in the lab and working on his game, he's probably not quickness-wise the same he was 5, 7, 10 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, he's probably lost some of that verticality. You see, he should pass Michael sometime around Christmas or the New Year's if he averages 20 points a game.
Right. Well, let's say to get past Michael, if he averages 20 points a game, it'll take him about 30 games.
And that takes you around Christmas, right?
Yeah. Merry Christmas to Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, he should average that.
Yeah.
But when you have mechanics and footwork, and he's always been a dead-eye shooter, that's why I don't worry about him scoring. Now, his shooting percentage might suffer a little bit, but in terms of scoring the basketball, like he's scoring over Julius Randle, who's
here we go.
3 inches taller than he is. That's good defense there by Kobe. And that's the inexperience of Julius Randle. Understanding you've got a smaller player against you, you got to use your body and your size. And Kobe is using his length at 6'7", but more importantly, his smarts.
Julius Randle will get to a place where someday Kobe Bryant should not be able to guard, or anyone Kobe's size shouldn't be able to guard him down there on the block.
What you mean?
And when the head coach talks, and then Byron Scott calls a foul, I like it because you're keeping Kobe Bryant on defense. I like it.
That's 3.
There's no favoritism going on out here.
Go there. Rebound.
Do you see a point guard or a two guard in Jordan?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
In Jordan Clarkson? Yeah, absolutely. He's more of a shooting guard.
Shooting guard.
It was interesting speaking with Byron Scott's son, Thomas Scott. He's saying the second-year guard, combo guard out of Missouri, can play both positions, and he's not really a favorite of either one. He's a very important. I don't like comparing other players, but he says he's along the lines of a George Hill. Can play ones, can play two, but I think he's a better shooter than George Hill. And right now, with the injury to Nick Young, I mean, I think he's going to fill in good at that
need for
spot.
scoring. Yeah, the need for scoring.
I think they're pretty set at point guard with Ronnie Price, Jeremy Lin, and Steve Nash. I think to learn behind Kobe Bryant, that's a valuable lesson.
Yeah.
And then bounce, and then we second the drill, right? Coach, you say second the drill, one dribble go, one dribble go.
Let's listen in to head coach Byron Scott here.
What we're doing though, once we go, he kicks it out, rotate accordingly. Once it gets to the guy in the corner or to the top, when we rotate, stop. Okay? All right, stop. Okay, here we go. All right. My man here. Get in the post. Wait. Come on, Wesley. Good. Stop. Good job.
Now we've gone from the 4-on-4 shell drill to 5-on-5 contact here. Now you've got the guy in the post. This is what you would traditionally see during an NBA game, the spacing. And now all this communication that we just saw in the shell drill when it was 4-on-4 has to be implemented in a 5-on-5 setting, Rick.
The ball is touching the block, and they're building their defensive adjustments from there. So you see double teaming the post and rotating out of it. In this league, you know, being that this team is not, seeing this team isn't as big as they would like to be. Right. At times they may need to help in the post, and if that happens, where is the double team coming from? Is it on the pass?
And where are the rotations coming out of that? You hear a lot of the terminology that they're using: stunting, digging, and that's when the wings come down and they're kind of stunning the low post player to get the ball out of his hands. And everyone defensively, and you hear this as well, and there's a lot of clichéing going on, but this is real training camp. You are behind the veil, so when you hear stunting and the defensive players being on a string, you've got to be on a string defensively. Let's listen to Byron Scott as he talks about that.
Our chest right on his shoulder with high hands, and just lean on him a little bit. We got to force air pass. We got to force some air into that ball. We can't let bullets come out because it's going to be too hard to rotate to him. Okay, but when he goes down here, you should be playing a little bit right in that area. If he throws over your head, it's still you, Jay. Okay, so if it goes over your head, again, just like Shell, you in this position, you got first pass. So if it skips it, that's you. You're stunting. You're going right back up. Remember, just like we talked about, you go opposite of where the ball goes. That ball goes this way, you should be going straight corner. Goes over your head, you should be coming straight back out. Okay, let's do it again.
Rick, let me ask you a question. Byron Scott talked about when the ball goes into the post, he wants air underneath the basketball as it comes out to the weak side instead of bullet passes.
That's not me.
What is he talking about?
No bullets. The quicker the ball comes out, you're talking about the quicker the offensive has an opportunity to get a shot off. But as you saw with the San Antonio Spurs, ball movement and whipping that ball around gave them opportunities to dissect the defense. The patience and the quickness of reading a defense is what these guys are doing here offensively. But when you get your hands up, as they ran for the first 20 minutes of this practice, they ran.
Way to bring it full circle. Way to bring it full circle.
Their shoulders for 20 minutes.
Okay. Now,
that's what Byron is calling for now.
Purple's a little smarter because they're veteran guys. He comes this way, and we got Kobe in the corner. This is an overload. All right? Basically, now we're in dig position. Ball goes in there just like Jeremy is digging. Okay? If it goes back out, you kind of in this dig position. Okay? If it comes out, our closeout is taking away the middle. All right? So this is something we haven't worked on. Cut through, Kobe. All right? So we're in this position. You're not the dig guy. You're kind of flicking a little bit, but he's the red man. Okay? Come back up front, Ronnie. If he's on this side of the basket, now it's you. And guys, If you go too early, I don't care. And a lot of times if you up here and you see it and you just holler, I'm going, that lets everybody on the weak side know what you're doing. Okay? And come down again with high hands. All right, one more time, White. Let's go.
And why it's so important to go down with high hands. Another thing that Byron Scott's talking about is going body to body. A lot of players don't want to sacrifice their bodies when they go down there with the bigs because they know they're going to take that punishment.
Good, bro.
But that makes that pass out of the bigs' hands so much more difficult as Byron wants a little bit air in it. That allows the defense to be able to rotate and everyone get into position.
Stop here. Stop here. Good job, guys. Listen, again, Roscoe, when you're going out, you can't make this move. I'm going down there double and that ball goes out, and you should know where you're going, especially when it goes here. It should be this area. If you do this and then try to get there, it's too late. Okay? You got to know exactly where you're going. Okay? Guys, we got 3 teams. Listen up. 3 teams. Losers run in this drill. 3 teams, losers run. 3 games. We're going to play 3 games. All right, listen up for your teams.
Well, head coach Byron Scott, he's already marched out the orders. We have 3 teams.
You guys right here in the
Loser runs. We'll be back with more Real Training Camp Lakers to see what happens. Welcome back to Real Training Camp. Now, Rick, which one of you have like 3 or 4 of those? Am I correct on that?
I got 3 of them. I got that one right there.
Okay, there.
I got that one right there.
Okay.
I got that one too. and that one. I got those 3. Yeah.
Oh, it must be nice. You're watching Real Training Camp LA Lakers. I'm Reggie Miller alongside Rick Fox, and we're joined by Swaggy P, but we'll go with Nick Young. And obviously the news coming out of training camp.
Yeah.
The injury to ligament damage to your
thumb, right thumb. So I was guarding Kobe, and when I
Which
fouled,
you guys have been trash talking back and forth during training camp.
It was real intense, and I tried to foul him. He did the little pump fake.
Right.
Ended up jamming my thumb on his elbow, and he gonna talk trash after and say I made a steal and all that. So it was crazy. It was crazy.
Well, the new transition here with head coach Byron Scott here, we noticed, and even with your injury here, you still got a chance to work your legs a little bit.
Yeah.
How's your body feeling otherwise, conditioning?
I'm feeling a lot better. The first day was crazy. We did that plus suicides and 17s, but I thought I was going to have a day to relax, and he called me in.
I told you, I do it.
He called me in and said, your legs still work, right?
I do it.
So, I just got out there. He told me to get out there, when we do the running and defensive slide drills and all that. So,
what have the doctors said? I mean, I know you have surgery on Monday.
Yeah.
Have they said what's the length of time you may possibly be out?
Not really. They're probably 6 to 8 weeks, but we got to go from the surgery and see what happens. So, but it's killing me to get out there and talk trash, especially when y'all here. So,
Well, talk to us about the guys on the team now. Obviously, last year, disappointing year. Yeah. But the bright spot was really you. I thought you emerged to be one of the top 6 men in the game. You averaged 18 points. Now, how does that incorporate with Steve Nash and Kobe Bryant being mixed back into the fold?
I think it helps a lot, especially because, Kobe demands so much out there that it leads me to be open, and especially playing with Nash and how healthy and how good he's been looking lately. He's one of the reasons when he came back why I had a 40-point game. He was finding me in places I didn't think he'd see me at. So it's just fun playing with somebody like that, especially when Kobe's just pushing you every day. So.
You spent the summer, I'm sure, working on your game. I thought you really settled into what you're going to be about going forward in your career. I thought you gained a confidence and found the pace and the tempo to be effective out here. How much of that was just mentorship through Kobe and spending time talking to him about the game?
Oh, yeah, especially I did a lot of I worked out with Kobe a lot this summer. And, all the 6 a.m. wake-up calls I get and traveling from the Valley to Orange County at 6 in the morning just to work out with him. But it's worth it, We sit down, we go over film, we go over game plays and all that. So he's really been like, my big brother doing the summer.
Let's translate that to this team. I'm sure you've had many conversations with your new head coach, Byron Scott. It's going to be a new offense. What do you guys see how that is going to – a lot of chin action, Princeton / triangle.
Oh, yeah. We've been going over, a lot of chin 15s, a lot of but, Kobe tends to break off plays and go to the post and, and we play off of that. So, you really just, got to, find your way out there, and really sit down and go over things with the coach and with, Kobe too, because, he demands so much out there.
Any thoughts for with those guys so they have a sense of what is expected?
Oh yeah, most definitely, especially with the rooks. It means a lot to be a Laker. Especially for me growing up in LA and just being at all the Laker parades. My bad after y'all beat Reggie.
Oh come on, why are you gonna bring that up? Why are you really gonna go there, Nick? You don't know how difficult it was walking into this building.
Yeah, that was tough, but he progressed. He gonna get a chance to get out there more. So.
What seed? Playoff basketball team?
Yeah.
Los Angeles Lakers?
Yeah.
What seed?
I don't know. As long as we in there.
As long as you're in there.
As long as we in there, that's where we want to be at.
Well, we hope you continue success, that you get back sooner than 6 or 8 weeks.
Right,
good luck on the surgery on Monday.
My bowling sleeve on.
Nick Young, everyone.
Yes.
We'll be back with more Real Training Camp LA Lakers in a moment. Welcome back to Real Training Camp. And if you want to hit the road with my good friend Rick Fox here, it's the Hang Time Road Trip. Oh, my God. Wait, 7 or 8 guys are going to be on this van right here?
Well, I don't know about all of that. I was told just Lang, Sekou, and me. But, I guess we're going to have some camera crews and some guys. They're going to handle the driving for us because they don't want me behind that big bus. But yeah, we're gonna be in Cleveland starting tomorrow.
Oh, that's great!
Which is LeBron's first game, and then on to Chicago. We get Derrick Rose back in the NBA this year, and then over to Indiana where we see the two young rookies from Minnesota.
Right.
Check in with your boy. Great piece with you and Larry Bird the other day. The interview. Love that. And then we go up through the East Coast. We go to New York. We go to Philly. We come down through Charlotte. So yeah, we're gonna check in with some other training camps and.
Well, who gets the master suite on the bus? I would assume since you have 3 rings, you get the
we got to.
Oh no,
it's equal opportunity for everyone.
Oh no, you got to get the big bed. You've got to get the big bed.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. Nothing like being on the ground, checking in with the fans in each of those cities too.
Yeah, you get a
taking the temperature of their optimism.
You get the pulse. You get the pulse of the city.
So tune in. Follow us on. Hang Time Podcast. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, NBA TV. We'll be reporting from these different locations while NBA TV continues to cover all the preseason activities around the league. Kobe Bryant there. Any places I should stop in Indiana? Indianapolis?
St. Elmo's.
St. Elmo's, okay.
Steakhouse.
St. Elmo's Steakhouse.
St. Elmo's Steakhouse.
Tell them put it on Reg's tab.
That's right. I got a long tab there, too.
So do we have a score here? Do we know?
Well, there's 3 teams.
Who's going to be on the line at the end of the day?
Now, we've been going for about an hour and a half, 40 minutes of practice here, and I think fatigue is starting to work its way in a little bit.
Always trying to guess whose mic that is. We keep hearing.
And since Steve Nash is in the back, I think it's Jeremy Lin's mic that we hear all the huffing and puffing.
Someone's calling for a stop. Jeremy wants to stop. Something tells me that huffing and puffing, we might get some more of that from his mic if they don't get a stop here.
There's that uncontested shot. If you're Ed Davis, you've got to get into the face of Robert Sacre. The red team is right now outperforming both the purple and the white team.
Uh-oh. I get the sense that everyone's going to be running in.
I think so, too. So as it stands now, the purple team with Kobe Bryant has 1 victory. The red team has 1 victory. If the white team finds a way to win this drill, then from our understanding, no one's going to have to run. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't trust the Pat Riley tree coach. If I had to guess.
In a minute, we're going to be joined by longtime trainer of the LA Lakers, Gary Vitti, to kind of give us an update of what happened with Steve Nash early on. We talked about him tweaking that ankle, as well as Kobe Bryant, talking about the knee injury and the Achilles, how he's approaching training camp, and are there any restrictions or expectations early on? So we'll hear from Gary Vitti here in a minute. And Gary, what year is this now for you with the LA Lakers?
31.
Oh, magic number 31. I like that. So you've probably seen a number of training camps from a number of Hall of Famer players as well as coaches. How has Byron Scott's training camp with all the conditioning and the running, how have you seen this training camp unfold versus others?
Well, I haven't seen this in a while, but this is all vintage Riley stuff.
Right.
Okay? And it's great. It brings me back to when we were putting banners up on those walls decades ago. And Byron's got the right attitude, and I think he's conveying that to the players. What I'm seeing is these young kids and our veteran players are responding very well to the loads that he's putting on them.
Now, your concerns as training camp always obviously kicks off, the demands of back-to-backs, 2-a-days, the crunch of the first 10 days being intense. You check in, I'm sure, as you guys have physicals, with the state of each player. Any concerns when we specifically point to a guy like Kobe Bryant, who has new challenges in his career now, faced with not only demands of just getting his body back to the level he'd like to be at, but also then being in a training camp like this, where the rigors and it is new to him, as he said?
Well, it's not so much that we're putting restrictions on Kobe or Steve Nash, for that matter. It's just trying to be smart about it, and in 2 ways. One, when guys are feeling pretty good in a workout or a practice or a game, they tend to push it, step on the gas and go even harder. Having a good day, I'm really going to push it. And I'm trying to convince these two, and actually have convinced them, to not do that. That's what we don't want to do. Right. Okay, we always want to leave something in the tank for tomorrow. So it goes against both of their grains, because they really don't know any better other than to push themselves harder and harder. But we're just trying to be smart. You got to get your time in on the floor. You got to play basketball. You have to play it intensely. But we don't want to go overboard. We always want to leave the floor feeling pretty good and coming back the next day with something left from the day before.
You mentioned Steve Nash. Obviously, he's not out here for pretty much most of this practice. We understand he tweaked his ankle a little bit early on in practice.
Yeah, it's kind of Steve doesn't do anything routine in terms of injuries. It's always fluky kind of stuff. So we were doing what's called easy run, and it's an O'Reilly conditioning exercise.
There wasn't nothing easy about it.
There's nothing easy about the easy run. And Steve's a little bit slower than some of the other guys, and ended up stepping on the rookie's foot, and kind of rolled his foot more than his ankle. Not really a sprained ankle, but kind of tweaked some of the muscles that go around the outside of your ankle. And my concern is if I push him out there now, he'll start to change his gait.
Right.
And he's so fragile right now that if he starts changing his gait, it kind of sends issues up the kinetic chain, and then his back will start bothering him again. And once again, we're just trying to be smart about
Err
how
on
we're
the side of
handling
caution.
things. Yeah, not there's certain guys you want to push. He's not one of them.
Okay.
Gary, one of the joys of catching up with you is always your recanting of some of the memories we have had over the years. And you were sharing one with Reggie, and thankfully we kept going to air, so you weren't able to share the one about me.
I'm not sure we want to go into that while we're live.
But as always, I'm a believer that any of these banners that hang in this storied practice facility here or in the old Great Western Forum,
You got to keep guys healthy.
You got to keep them healthy, and
keep them
you've
on the
been
floor.
a major part of that. And so, to your, how many rings you have?
I have 8.
You have 8. Look at that.
Wow.
So I hope, selfishly, I hope you find greater success this season than you had last year. I know that had to be a challenging year for you. It's
a challenging 2 years.
2 years, that's the point.
It's been really rough. A lot of fluky stuff you don't normally see. And the problem that we had, even the last 2 years, but especially last year, the injuries were all time loss injury, significant time loss injuries. So, and we started stacking them one on top of another. So it wasn't like, okay, a guy sprains his ankle and he's out a couple of weeks and you get him back, and then another guy, misses a couple of days and you get him back, and you're kind of shifting people around. What was happening with us is we were having 6 to 8 week issues, one on top of the other, and when that happens to like 4 players or 5 players, now you got a third of your team is on the sideline, and guys that actually demand minutes, and so it was difficult, and the style of play was difficult for the personnel that we had. Going back to Nash and Kobe and trying to be smart about things. The pace of the game is going to be very, very important for those 2 players to be not only productive but healthy. So we're going to have to slow it down a little bit.
There won't be any minute restrictions for both of those guys, will there?
Not per se, okay, but I think that I see Kobe playing 32 to 34. I think Kobe sees himself playing 34 to 36.
Yes.
So let's talk. Let's compromise around 34. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so
Rochambeau.
Yeah. The issue isn't always the minutes that are played, but the recovery time that comes after that. And who did you play going into that game?
And who do you have coming up?
That's exactly right. So it's a lot more complex the way we look at it than what's going on in the game at that particular moment.
How's been the recovery time for this training camp? This is your 7th practice. How's been the recovery time for these guys?
We're paying a lot of attention to it, and we're speaking to the guys. The things that we do know about recovery, and some of this has come out of Australia, the research, and it's a little ambiguous sometimes. Depends on who you read and when you read it and what you read. But we still think that ice water immersion, nutrition, and sleep are the 3 big keys.
Right.
And, we can control the ice water immersion. We even have some new technology that we can use on the sidelines. It's not actually an ice bath, but it's a garment that's basically an ice bath.
Okay.
When you don't have an ice bath available to you. The nutrition, we're controlling 2 meals a day, and we're feeding them what they need to eat, and they're buying into the nutrition program. And then we have rooms for them next door at the hotel, and we counsel them to get off their feet as soon as we can, and get them in bed and get ready for the next one. And of course, hydration is also a big issue. And
they're going again tonight, right?
We have 1 again tonight and 2 tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we play on Monday, and we're always telling them not just what the next thing is, but the next thing. Okay, so be aware. You know, you have 2 practices today, 2 tomorrow. Okay, just because you had one last night or yesterday didn't mean that you could go wild last night. Get off your feet. You know, get some rest. Use that time to recover, because you got a double, and a game coming up.
We're going to see who's getting ready to run here. There seems to be some negotiations going on.
A lot of luring, politics and luring going up right here.
Yeah. But you want that, right? I mean, this is part of the camaraderie and what makes things work on a team.
Let's hear what he has to say.
Okay? And both with a basketball. Both with a basketball. Everybody else stay here for a second.
While we listen in to head coach Byron Scott, we'll thank Gary Vitti for the inside knowledge and what it takes to be a professional. We appreciate it, Gary. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine, and I'll get back to you when you're off the air about that story about Rick.
Let's listen in to head coach Byron Scott.
Jeremy, everybody else down here. JC first, he's up. Okay? Keith wants to be on the other wing, and West on the other swing over here. Everybody else behind them, baseline as well. Not baseline, but on the wing. On the wing. Match up, just on the wing. Yeah, not everybody. Somebody over there, 3 over there, and 3 over here. JC has the basketball. Okay?
This is shooting.
Again, we're going to have a basketball in Boo's hand. Basketball over here. Roscoe, you'll be over, or Ed, don't matter. In their hand. The drill is called LA Fire Drill. All right? LA Fire Drill. Now, here's how it starts. We're going to keep, just like 3-man wing, we're going up. Okay? Nope. You're going to the wing. Yeah, you're hitting Wesley. Wesley's going in for a layup. JC's getting the jump shot. Keith's getting the jump shot. Lay it up. Yep, once you lay it up, you grab it back out the rim. Now you got Kobe and Jeremy going down. You hit Kobe, you run to this lane. Kobe's going to hit Jeremy. Jeremy goes for the layup. Kobe gets the jump shot. You make the pass to the wing guys. Okay? Now listen. You got 2 minutes to make 60 points. 2 minutes to make 60 points. No. All ones. All ones. So when you run it into a jump shot,
sounds like a setup.
17-18 jump shot. Not shooting threes, okay? We got it? No
Not
middle line.
shooting threes.
Lines are on the wing. Lines on the wing are passers.
Rick, you have to be flying in
They are
this drill.
passing.
It's almost
It's a
setting
setup.
you
So
up.
again,
It's setting
like
you up for
3-man
failure.
wing. First pass, second pass, the guy makes a layup. 2 wing guys running for jump shots. Guy that makes a layup, you go in one more time. You go get your own rebound. You hit either wing. You fill that wing for a jump shot.
And the assistant
got it?
coaches and some
I'm pretty
of the
sure we're going to do this twice.
trainers will
I'm pretty sure we're going to do this twice.
keep the numbers. Again, the magic number is 60 here.
Kobe, I'm going. Kobe, I'm going.
Everything is 1. Jump shots are 1, layups are 1.
4, 5, 6.
They're off to a
Great start. The key is concentration and making your jump shots, because you figure everyone's going to make their layup.
And you know what's making this possible too?
Start again.
Boy.
So the guy that rebounds, got to get your own rebound. Whoever
So now
on the
they
wing,
just blew
either wing
that.
side.
They just blew that great start.
All right, here's the other part of it. Because I know how you guys are going to do it. You're going to start leaking out. We can't leak out. So whoever wants outlet, start calling outlet. So when he rebounds his own make, he can hit you, boom, and you fly to that other wing. All right? You do not leak out. So again, you got to wait till he lays the ball in. When he gets his own rebound, and then we run. Okay? Start over.
Start
Here we
over.
go.
That great start they just
Gotta
had.
run.
Let's go.
Rebound, Julius.
Let's go. Get the rebound and go. Get the rebound and go.
I suspect he's going to stop him a couple times.
2, 3.
Get it and go. Get it and go.
Somebody yell
Jeremy.
outlet. 5,
Come on.
6, 7, 8,
Again, another conditioning drill. But the twist here is,
9,
you're adding elements of shooting,
10,
which helps, but
11.
you still get very exhausted after the first or second trip up down.
Outlet. You gotta get the outlet.
And Rick, there's no way they're going to get 60.
There's no way.
In 2
Go,
minutes.
go, Jabari. Outlet right here. Outlet.
19. 20.
And what you want to do on this
21.
drill, the guys that are shooting the shots, is you go to the corner of the free throw line.
Right.
Don't make it a long, 19, 20 footer.
26.
Get out in transition and get to the corner of the free throw line.
Better
A nice 15 footer.
29.
You'll make those.
You'll make those. You should make these in your sleep.
It's going to be close.
Hey, we're behind. 32, 33.
They're going to fall just short, about the 52 mark.
35.
They're close.
36.
Yeah, they won't make it.
37.
They got to go on.
I'm going.
They got a shot.
Roscoe. 40, 41. Keep going. 42.
They're close. They're close.
I don't know, the drillers seem to have broken down, though. I don't know if it resembles what they started off
The drill has broken down because fatigue has set in.
Yes.
48. 49.
If you can make shots.
52. 53. 54. 55. Roscoe. Like I said.
Roscoe.
No way you're going to do it on the first one.
Right there. No. Even on that last one.
We're going to do it again.
Either you or Kobe, you got to go.
Hey, I'll say this again.
You got to be in front of him.
Do not take off wing, guys, till he makes the layup and he's getting the rebound. You guys are hitting the shooter, and you're already gone. That's not how the drill works. It has nothing to do with making all three. It has to do with the fact that when he lays the ball up, I want an outlet guy here, yelling outlet, boom, and then he has to sprint to the other side. Don't throw it to the shooter and all of a sudden you way out here at half court. You're cheating the drill. Okay? This drill is meant to be a sprint drill. All right? Wes, you're going this way. So in other words, I'm going. Hey, when you two wing guys over here, you should be already talking. I got outlet, you the runner. So you got to talk a little bit. Let's go. Stop. Do it again. Wait till the rebounder gets the ball. Don't hit your wing guy first and then take off. Wait. Start again. Shut up.
Same thing, Jabari. Same thing. I'm going.
Here we go.
Clearly, this is the first time they've done this drill as they continue to try and figure out, as you heard Byron Scott say, how to do it correctly, not cheat the drill.
I'm tired just watching.
I know, but in essence, what he's encouraging them to do is not cheat themselves, not cheat the team. Because the habits you create here doing things correctly carry over into the game. So it's just the habits of correct, detailed approach lead to successful basketball.
We need to hit shots.
We're going to be joined by the two-time MVP, Steve Nash here. We talked to head trainer Gary Vitti earlier about Steve tweaking his ankle.
You go.
Steve, you've been watching practice, and you've been a part of a lot of NBA training camps in the conditioning and the running. How does this one stack up to some of the other ones that you have faced?
This is, if not the heaviest, right up there. The amount of conditioning we've done, I think Byron set a tone really early. Our first drill of the day was the first drill we did the first day of camp where,
I'm going.
It was great because it set the tone.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a little bit
Hands
like
up.
high school or college, but I think I love it. It sets the tone. It gets guys on guard. Like, hey, we're not messing around. We're going to get in shape. We're going to do what I say. And we're going to do it right. And I like that.
Yeah, I think there's things that we noticed about doing it right. The little things, keeping the hands up. How does that translate into a game?
It's habits, right? I mean, the more you can be disciplined enough to move your feet and keep your hands up, the more airspace you take away. The more shots you can test, the more deflections you get. So it's just a little thing to set the tone, get guys in shape, get them thinking in that vein rather than shortcuts. So it's a great way to start camp.
Let's talk about you and some of the injuries. You didn't go through the full practice. Kind of tweaked your ankle a little bit.
I stepped on our rookie's foot in the conditioning drill. lapping him for the third time.
Damn, rookies,
He's 19.
come on.
This is my 19th camp. I should not be lapping him continuously.
Well, we noticed that. We were pointing out that throughout the whole equation, a lot of guys got alligator arms in that running drill, but you had your hands above still. And Byron Scott actually pointed out to us at the start that he was really happy with your conditioning and that you looked great. And that's like once you point out 19 years, man.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
Thanks. I actually feel great. I'm hoping that what's happened is that nerve has just become less sensitive in time. And it took a long time, but I'm hoping that's what it is because I've had pretty much a free summer, moving well, freely, without limitation. And the first 4 days of camp, I felt great. You roll your ankle a little bit. It's one of those things that at this stage that I don't want to go limp through it and then get a little a tweak and start that downward spiral. Yeah. I have to change my focus. As you guys know, playing in the league for a long time, you always, with a high intensity and work ethic, you always want to do more. You always want to pound yourself into the ground so that it pays off in the games. And I have to change that mentality now to say, I got to live for tomorrow. I got to survive, get off my feet when I feel good, and put it in the bank and get out tomorrow and see if I can play, 60 to 80 games this year. So that's been hard for me. I used to remember 2-a-days throughout my career, I try to make at least 100 before in every practice. At the end of the week, you're talking 2,000, 2,400 shots. Makes, now I'm like, I can't do that. I give myself 10 minutes before practice to take like some real deliberate shots and try to make every one instead of like out there for a half hour before, after. And that takes a lot of discipline in the other respect, to like say, no, this is what you got to do. This is how you're going to manage yourself, or else your season could be over in a week. So it's a different frame of mind, but I'm enjoying the challenge, and I think I just got a little bit of a shot at it this year.
Being the quarterback of this team, now that you're bringing back Kobe Bryant and yourself, you're bringing in a new head coach and a new system. You've ran the system a little bit, the chin action and a little bit of the Princeton. What are going to be your challenges now that you're going to be back on the floor playing?
Again, the club's been in a kind of a rebuild and for lack of a better word, so we've had 3 coaches. We've had 3 offenses, and I say 3 because Mike Brown's Princeton is a little different than this one thus far. I don't think we ever really got to the chin by the time, Mike D'Antoni took over. So it's thus far it's been different experience. So it's constant change, and that's the nature of this business. Teams go through cycles. We're going through one of those, and so it's important for us to be open, work together, collaborate, learn what Byron really wants, the details, and find a way to make it work. And it's not really about you. It's about how can I help my teammates thrive in the system.
Let's take a listen to Byron as he addresses the team here.
Is shooting, all right? But you're going to pair up. We'll have 2 guys to each basket or 4 guys to each basket. So pick a partner. You got to make 60 shots, okay? You're going to start at the wing to the top to the wing. So once you hit your 10 at the wing, Cole, whoever you pick, he goes wing. And then when he hits his 10, then you guys go top. So you guys just, So you go wing, top, wing. 10, catch and shoot. The next 10 that you make, are going to be off the dribble. All right? Now listen, these are the 4 baskets we're going. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Bring it back in here. We're not done. After you got your 60 makes, you got to make 50 free throws. Okay? You got to start making our free throws, all right? Bring it in here.
What you doing?
Good job, Jay. Good job again. Great hustle, great intensity. I love the competition. And again, each day, just keep getting better. All right? But before we break out, oh, yeah, you're right. So when you shoot at the free throw line, 15 feet out on the wing, if you make it, you go back to half court. You know the drill. Yeah. If you miss it, you go 3/4 court.
What is that?
Shooting right now.
That's more running.
So again, Kobe's going, let's say, he shoots it from the wing, he makes it, jog to the half court, back, makes it again, half court, back, he missed, 3/4 court, back. Okay? And you got to make 10 on that wing. So all together, you guys are going to be making 60 shots apiece. All right, Gary V.
Next time around, you go 10.
Next time around, you go off the dribble. Okay, Gary V, talk about tonight.
Regular time, man.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys know what you need to do, okay, for recovery.
So, Steve, something I'm noticing from having played with Byron Scott, our time in Indiana, and listening to him as the head coach here.
Lakes on 3. 1, 2, 3. Pick your partner. Let's get some shots.
He's only expecting I mean, there's a lot of conditioning going on right here, and I think that can only help you guys, especially because you're not the biggest of teams.
Can we go at the same
You guys could be well conditioned. You guys can steal games in the fourth quarter when they're close.
I think you're 100% correct. I mean, we're not the most talented team. We're not the biggest team. You know, we're probably not the most athletic team, but if we're well conditioned, we have an attention to detail. You know how much those intangibles that we don't necessarily put on the stat sheet every night, how far they go at both ends of the floor. So, you know, Byron's been amazing so far. Detailed, concise, articulate. I think nobody's guessing what is he talking about.
No gray area.
No, we know what he wants, and you get it done. And I think he's set a high standard for us, and it's been a lot of fun to experience this camp.
Someone did have a problem with those directions about running when they missed just a second ago, as you see here. Tell me about your conversations with Kobe so far heading into camp here. Just what you guys really envision for this team.
Well, I think it's one of those things we have to manage as it unfolds because there's so many new guys, new coach, myself. Hoping to be 100% or as close as you can be at this stage. Him as well. I think the biggest thing we've talked about is just how good it feels to have some health and to feel positive and optimistic about your body and what you can accomplish. So, you know, right now I think that's the key is trying to get through camp physically in better condition than you started, no worse for wear, and try to put the team in a place where we've covered some ground over that first, you know, week to 4 weeks here where it's so pivotal for a team that's all new faces and a new coach.
Any minute restrictions for you going forward? The rest of this training camp, you guys play on Monday, exhibition game versus Denver. Going forward, you know, what's going to be your level of fitness?
Well, we haven't talked about it. I think it's something that, you know, we'll manage day to day. Obviously, coach has been great about not allowing myself or Kobe to overdo it. You know, I'm sure there'll be, for myself, some sort of eye on the minutes, you know, in the preseason and the regular season. I think, frankly, for me, there should be a limit on the minutes, you know, somewhere. But I think that's something that I have to prove. I have to prove I can play 20, 25, 28, 30 minutes, whatever that is. You know, I don't think you can announce what that is until I prove where I am. And I'm hoping to be able to, you know, outlive those expectations, whatever those minutes are. But you have to sometimes take precautions that maybe dent your pride a little bit, but keeps you on the floor for 6-7 months.
When you look at preseason games coming up here, and Kobe mentioned playing all of those games, is there anything you feel you need to get maybe tighten up before you get going here in the regular season? You're going to use all these games to do that?
I mean, I spent the summer working. I'm feeling like I'm in good shape. I feel like my skills are good, but you know, you need game reps. You know that. You know, I think you guys can attest to that. It's like playing an actual NBA game against NBA players with referees. And trying to, you know, figure out your sets at both ends of the floor. That's what you need. You know, that's the only thing that you can't replicate. And so for me, that's what I want, is just to get as many scrimmage minutes in practice and as many minutes in the game in each of these preseason games so that I feel prepared once the season rolls around.
Well, good luck. Stay healthy, please.
Yeah.
Stay healthy,
Appreciate
please. We all want to see you back on the floor doing what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you, Steve.
Great to see
all
you
the
guys.
best this season, man.
We'll see you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll be back with more Real Training Camp LA Lakers right after this.
Welcome back to Southern California, where we soon could be out there surfing. Some of these guys out here might have drank as much water as the Pacific Ocean. One guy didn't. Joining here at Real Training Camp from Toyota Center, Byron Scott. Kobe Bryant didn't have any water. He must have had something left in the tank.
They look good.
Yeah.
He's been running hard, and the drill that we opened up with today, our easy run, is something that he did the first day, and a lot of guys are struggling with it. But it looked a lot easier for guys today, even though it wasn't an easy drill. But they got through it, you know, and that's the thing that the guys have been doing every day, is just getting through it and getting better. And the competitive nature of all these guys is starting to come out, which is something that I enjoy.
You're going old school. You won 3 rings with this historic franchise, the Lakers. You were in the studio last year. What did you see as you were watching this team and calling this team? Now you get the call from Mitch Kupchak. We want you to be the head coach. What did you see in this team?
Just a different philosophy. You know, I mean, ever since I've been here in this organization, you know, the one thing that I had always had a lot of pride in, and Rick, you can speak for this as well, is that this team, this purple and gold, always thought about and never nothing less but championships.
Right.
You know, that was our attitude every time we stepped on the floor. That was our attitude going into training camp. And I think we've lost that. We've lost that swagger, so to speak, in this organization, and we had to get that back. And I mean, our first meeting Monday night before we started Tuesday morning, I told everybody on this team, you better start thinking like champions again. Because that's the way I look at it. I know that's the way number 24 looks at it, and we got to get everybody else to feel the same way. And when we start changing the attitude and the mindset, then we'll start winning games. And I think that's the most important thing.
Well, as the attitude and the mindset shifts back to championship focus, I noticed for you on the defensive end. Practice in itself. How much of that has been a focus knowing that this team struggled last year defensively for the most part?
Yeah, 75% of what we do every day is on that end of the floor. We talk about it, and we've been doing it from day one. And I told the guys, until we get perfect at it, then we'll stop doing it. But that's not going to happen. So that means every day we're going to work on that end of the floor because, again, to me, that's the most important end of the floor. We got to defend every single night, and then we got to rebound. Those are our two biggest emphasis right now. Offense is going to come and go. Guys are going to make shots. They're going to make shots. But our effort on that end, our consistency on that end of the floor has to be our staple.
As a head coach, you're dealt the cards that come your way.
Right.
You've got 3 veterans on this team that's seen a lot of playoff action and championships. Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash, Carlos Boozer. How are you going to approach them during this training camp? Kobe's saying he wants to play all 8 games.
Right.
I don't know if that's smart, but he wants to play them. But how are you as a head coach going to navigate that?
Well, minutes are always important for players. You know that. And the one thing I got control over is minutes. So that gets their attention. But with those 3 guys, you're talking about 2 of them Hall of Famers, in Kobe and Steve Nash. My relationship with Kobe over the years, I think, has been well documented. He's a guy that trusts me, and I trust him. We've already talked about the type of minutes he's going to play during the regular season. We haven't even talked about preseason games yet. But all 3 of those guys, minute-wise, have to be under a little bit of a restriction.
Right.
And we have to be very smart on how we monitor their minutes during the season. Because I look at it like this. You got to have something left in the tank in April, when we're fighting for that spot, to move up. Everybody thinks, if they can get 40 wins, that's great. That'd be unbelievable. Well, I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking a whole lot more, and that's the way I want our team to be thinking as well.
I think to get that accomplished, you're going to need some players to evolve.
No doubt about it.
And I think Randall, the rookie, and some of these rookies that are coming in, some of the returning young players, what are you seeing from them? What are your expectations from them?
Well, again, you don't want to put a whole lot of expectation on rookies. As good as I think Julius is going to be, you don't want to say, I expect this and this from this kid. I'm not going to say I expect 15 and 10, from a rookie that has never played an NBA game that's only 19 years old. Right. He has a ways to go. He's learning, and he said day one, this is a lot, faster than I thought it was going to be. And we all know as pros, when you get to this level, the game has to slow down for you. Right now, it's at 110 miles an hour for him. The same thing with Jordan Clarkson. So having a vet like Booz, to help Julius, having a vet for Jordan like Steve Nash and Kobe to help him, I think is going to make the process a little bit easier.
2 guys I want you to talk about, and we'll get you out of here after this. Nick Young, obviously, the thumb injury, surgery on Monday. What is his expectations when he does come back? And Jeremy Lin, I think this is a new lease on life for Jeremy Lin to come into a situation like this. What do you see as the head coach, and how are you going to navigate those 2 guys?
I agree with you with Jeremy, first of all. I think, again, the one thing I think about a lot of guys that we have here, Reg and Rick, is that we have a lot of guys with a chip on their shoulder. And I think Jeremy is one of those guys. Like you said, it's a fresh start, a new start, but also kind of losing his job in Houston. He's one of those kids that has come kind of from nowhere to kind of make a name for himself, and I think he wants to get that back. So I think he's going to play extremely well. Nick Young, I really thought could be a 6 Man of the Year award type winner until obviously he hurt his thumb. So 6 to 8 weeks is expectations of him being out, but he had a great training camp thus far until he hurt his thumb. You got to love him anyway. It's just his attitude and the way he looks at life. He's just a fun-loving guy. But I really thought he was going to play really well, and I still think he will once he comes back from the injury.
Well, Rick and I, we were impressed with the training camp coach. We're about ready to go ice our knees, and we didn't even run at all.
We got an ice bag in there for y'all. Ice tub, whatever y'all need. We got it in there for you.
Good luck. Hope things work out. You get everyone healthy. You get everything clicking.
Stay healthy.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is staying healthy.
Well, we appreciate it. We're here with Byron Scott. We'll be back with more Real Training Camp LA Lakers after this.
Still running.
Welcome back to Real Training Camp. I'm Reggie Miller alongside Rick Fox. And one guy we really haven't touched upon that much during this has been Carlos Boozer. Rick, you see the numbers here, and somewhat disappointing in Chicago. You heard grumblings that he didn't play a lot of the fourth quarter, Coach Thibodeau went in favor of Taj Gibson, more of a defensive approach down the stretch.
Yeah.
But somewhat of a new lease on life here with the LA Lakers.
Quiet practice for him. Not a lot of. And it wasn't a whole lot of scrimmaging to see what Carlos could still do, but he's going to have to improve on those numbers as a presence for this team because they're going to count on him. I mean, when you think of experience in the post, Jordan Hill has some experience, but no one more than Carlos Boozer when it comes to 20 and 10s, and he's done that consistently for a number of years, and the Lakers are hoping that there's still some of that type of productivity left in that body.
And not only that, I think being a big brother mentor to their first-round draft pick in Julius Randle. This is a guy that's seen just about every player in the NBA at that power forward position, and if you're Julius Randle, I'm going to try to be attached to the hip of Carlos Boozer to find out where I can pick my spots as he's coming to view. There's Julius Randle in that left-hand jump shot, working on that drill together. These two guys, I can see them playing, especially on certain nights, playing together a lot too.
Yeah, and
smaller lineup.
Therein lies the pairing of the two to start to develop a shorthand of communication. And passer makes the shooter. If you're going to get passes from an individual like Carlos Boozer, you may see that in the game. Start to develop an understanding of how guys like the ball, where they like it in the pocket, the shooting pocket, the timing. Julius is making a lot of long-distance runs here, so that would tell you a lot of shots aren't going down.
A lot of misses.
Fatigue.
and his head is down.
The fatigue is kicked in, which will take away your legs.
So, Foxy, I have to ask you, we've been talking about the West, obviously the LA Lakers. Going forward, let's get to the end of April. What you have here?
Oh, okay. Well, to the victor goes the spoils, and the San Antonio Spurs have proven it enough times to me.
Agreed.
Until people move the ball the way they move the ball, until the rest of the league understands how to move through the season as Pop has figured out, then they remain my number one. Clippers, I think, are definitely. I got a Memphis team up high. I think that was a team that was a 62-win team. If you add a healthy Marc Gasol in that mix last year, they made the playoffs further down. And then my other surprising, it's not to say that I don't think Oklahoma City is good. I just think the West is that good. I'm sliding them a few spots. And then Denver, Brian Shaw.
So that's my question to you, and I'm going to ask you why Denver, and to me, why New Orleans?
Right. Well, for me, Denver, I think, has not been as healthy in the past. Their depth has been, in the past, one of the deepest teams in the league. They get Aaron Aflalo, who I thought in Orlando had a really good season last year. He's back in Denver. If he can maintain that two-guard position the way he did in Orlando, bring that productivity over, you get a Gallinari, healthy and back. I mean, he was their best player until he went down. And then the return of JaVale McGee and the improvement of Moskov. I like this team. Kenneth Faried, let's not forget Kenneth Faried.
And the experience he had with Team USA.
So they just have to stay healthy, and if they do, we're not even talking about the young Gary Harris that came in the draft,
Michigan State,
who shot
Ty Lawson
exceptionally well. Ty Lawson, look at that! I didn't even mention Tyler. So they're deep. Their depth, finding minutes for all those guys is going to be a challenge for Brian, but they stay healthy. I think they can make that 8th seed.
And let me start off by saying, for me, why New Orleans. Both you and I are saying this is all predicated by health. Health is going to be a major issue for everyone, for all 30 teams. When healthy, to me, the New Orleans Pelicans have one of the best starting lineups with Drew Holiday at 1, Eric Gordon at 2, Tyreek Evans, former Rookie of the Year, at 3, and he's out for the whole training camp with a hamstring injury. You got Anthony Davis, who now moves to that 4, and Omar Ashik.
Yes.
To me, having Ashik there is going to do a lot what Robin Lopez did for LaMarcus Aldridge in Portland. Yeah. Allows him to play his natural position of power forward.
Right.
Ryan Anderson, who was hurt all of last year, off the bench, being able to be that stretch 4. I think there's pieces there for them to compete to make that 8th spot. Now, both you and I, we don't have the obvious team on there, which everyone's saying we're Where's Houston?
Yes.
Where's Houston? Houston, do we have a problem?
Yeah, they do have a problem in my estimation.
I agree, too.
The problem doesn't necessarily lie, obviously, with their two guard and their center, which both have had individually successful careers so far and continue to expand their games. I think the subtractions is where it comes in.
Chandler Parsons
to Dallas, Jeremy Lin to the Lakers here. Both moves, I'm sure they thought had needed to be made in the hopes of bringing in a Carmelo Anthony or another big name free agent. That didn't happen. So analytically, they're going to have to really do some number crunches.
And they're huge on those. They're huge on analytics.
Yeah, they're going to.
Daryl Morey is huge on that.
They did get Trevor Ariza to come over from Washington, who has had a stint in Houston before. So maybe there'll be a short hand there for him returning back to Houston. I don't know style of play if I see enough on the defensive end of the floor night in and night out yet to have them, maintain what they did last season. And not slide.
And you would think defensively they would be better with Trevor Ariza on the wing.
Yes.
Patrick Beverly picking up full court.
Yes.
And Dwight Howard manning the middle.
Right.
So you would think around all the edges in the middle that they would be solid defensively, but yet teams are able to score at will on them and teams shoot a high percentage against them.
Yes.
I think you and I are on the same page with that. That's why we both don't have Houston making the – look. The West is going to be so tough, so difficult. I mean, you could make a case, for New Orleans. Look, Phoenix Suns, who are a game or two not making. Phoenix Suns could be in this picture.
Exactly. We didn't even have Phoenix in the mix. And look, they've won 48 games last year without a whole lot from who was the young fella? Boy, I'm blanking right now. He was injured. Eric Bledsoe. Yes, thank you, Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
They signed him long term, but he and the Dragon were pretty potent combination together. And now
they picked up Isaiah Thomas.
Thank you. So you're talking about, they kept the Marquise brothers. There's a lot of positive,
Miles Plumlee.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of positives in Phoenix right now. And
that's why when you look at this Laker team, and we're here at Real Training Camp LA Lakers as they wind down their practice here, and we've had a chance to speak with Nick Young and Steve Nash and Byron Scott. At the moment, we'll probably get Kobe Bryant over here. You talk about the challenges of this Laker team trying to
break in there,
leapfrog a Phoenix, a New Orleans, a Denver.
Yeah, a lot has to go. A lot has to evolve quickly.
Right.
The chemistry has to evolve quickly. These players have to adapt to the system that Byron Scott wants to implement. These rookies have to come along. The young players that got a lot of minutes last year, the Wesley Johnsons, these individuals have to themselves, improve. Some of these guys are going to have to start at times.
Yeah.
When you think of it, they had a great high-scoring, potent bench, the best in the league last year. But, this Laker team has potential, but yet a lot of unanswered questions.
And, again, a huge setback with Nick Young potentially out 2 months with the thumb injury, surgery on Monday. So we'll pick a little bit more of this up after the break. Hopefully we'll get the Mamba over here, Kobe Bryant, to talk about at 36, the challenges coming back from 2 serious injuries, the knee as well as the Achilles, and his outlook for the Lakers. Back with more Real Training Camp. Welcome back to Real Training Camp, Los Angeles Lakers. And practice is getting ready to wind down here.
What time do we go off air? Some of these guys are going to still be shooting. That's a tough drill when your legs have left you.
Yeah.
But there you go, Julius.
And when you're a rookie and you don't know what to expect in an NBA training camp, remember they had to partner up and they had to make a certain amount. I think the number was 60 combined. And Julius Randle, as you see, Kobe Bryant just chilling, shooting free throws. Him and Wesley Johnson, they've been done.
Yeah, but you know what? The lights just came on, right? We just came back to air, and he's hit 4 in a row. I think he's a prime-time player.
Okay.
We watched him miss we watched him miss about 10 straight shots, had to run down and back, full length. Now he's hit 5 or 6 in a row. We got you, Julius. We figured you out.
So, Rick, we talked about the West and our top 8 teams. We might as well shift coast to the East Coast, and you can kind of show us what your top 8 in the Eastern Conference are?
Well, I think the top two
that's easy.
Are an easy pick.
That's real easy.
The Raptors, I think, have evolved beyond just being a lucky to be in the playoffs.
Re-signing Kyle Lowry was huge.
Yeah, that was really huge. And then I got the Charlotte. The Charlotte Hornets. Gangbusters here for me, improving beyond that 7 or 6 seed where they've lived the last couple years. I see them with the addition of Lance Stevenson, getting some physicality and some toughness there in the Eastern Conference. Washington. That may be a surprise for some because they could arguably be a 2 seed in some cases. In some people's, I have them right in the middle of the 4 or 5 spot there. The Knicks. Now that's going to require Phil Jackson and Derek Fisher changing that culture quickly here, but I think there's some personnel there, and you heard Carmelo Anthony say he's the most underrated superstar, and I think he's out to prove everyone that he deserves more respect. Miami, I almost had them slide out totally. I just think a lot of wear and tear on the bodies of those guys. But I got them respectfully there at the 7th spot. And then Brooklyn. I think Lionel Hollins for me.
Right.
Brooklyn, it was him alone, a healthy Brook Lopez, Darren Williams, and
we all have the same.
Johnson.
I'm not really sold on New York. I know it's going to be very difficult. And I really think Carmelo Anthony would be an excellent triangle-type player.
Yes.
But those guys have to buy into that system. And I know Phil Jackson, Derek Fisher, that's what they're trying to pump down those guys. But you're asking J.R. Smith to read and react, which could be very difficult. That's why I have Detroit in there. I think Stan Van Gundy and the system he has there, they've got one of the best front lines in basketball. And Greg Monroe, Andre Drummond, and Josh Smith. Josh Smith.
No, you got me one time.
Yes. If that front line, if they play to their potential,
right?
I mean,
and I think Stan. I agree with you. I went back and forth with Brooklyn and Detroit on who I think will eventually.
Right.
And it all is based on the coaching.
That's true.
It really is. Lionel Hollins and Stan Van Gundy were buying into their ability to really wrangle what has been talented rosters.
Right.
Really, really talented rosters, and really actually have them survive 82 games and respectfully make the playoffs.
Now, very much like how you and I both didn't have Houston in the Western Conference, you and I both don't have Atlanta. Atlanta was in the playoffs last year without Al Horford.
Without him,
he will be back, and this is a team that really pushed Indiana in that first round, taking them to 7 games.
Yep.
And this year, we both don't have them in there. A lot of things going on there.
I'd say, we might have been influenced by a lot of the temperature in the water there and the uncertainty. You hear the mayor come out and say he wants
a new owner
by December 31st. So with those kind of conversations swirling around the team, they're distractions.
Sure.
But no Indiana either.
Yeah. I think Paul George being gone for the season
and
with the leg injury. Lance Stevenson in Charlotte. I think it's a lot to ask David West, Roy Hibbert, who was so inconsistent last year during the playoffs. Now you're asking those guys without Lance Stevenson and Paul George, as well as George Hill. George Hill is going to have to step up. I can't see them really making the playoffs.
Let's hear a little bit of Jeremy Lin. He's been talking it up here with his teammates. See if we can get some of what chemistry building looks like post-workout.
Well, he's not huffing and puffing as much as he was during practice. That's the good thing.
I caught him mentioning to Jordan that if they hadn't won that last game, they would have been running.
I think this is going to be a great situation for Jeremy. Remember the breakout he had in New York where he averaged almost 16, 17 points? And signed that nice deal in Houston and kind of lost his spot to Patrick Beverly.
But he never lost his attacking mentality. He was aggressive in the playoffs. Remember for Houston, he'd come in, spelling Beverly, and, man, he was pushing that ball, attacking.
And I think that'll be the challenge here because Byron Scott wants to run more. And it's going to be difficult, especially with Kobe on the floor, to run. And I think with that second unit with Nick Young and sometimes with Wesley Johnson, these guys can get out and run.
So nutrition is the conversation between teammates here. Jeremy mentioned that between his first and second practice, he's famished and can eat as much as 2-3 plates and still be hungry.
People need to understand, and if you're a fan and you get a chance to go behind the veil and watch these guys during training camp, the amount of calories they burn. Remember the start of this practice, the first half hour was all conditioning and running. I mean, for 30 minutes straight. And we're getting ready to have Kobe Bryant join us here in a minute. And that's one guy, you talk about being in the best physical shape.
Yeah.
We saw all his teammates run over and get water. Kobe Bryant was the one guy who really didn't need a water break. So
you sure he's a mamba and not a camel?
Well, we'll ask him that.
The black camel.
And we'll take a quick break, and hopefully when we come back, we'll be joined by number 24, Kobe Bryant. The Mamba is back in the house. I'm Reggie Miller, Rick Fox. Now, when you see this piece, and we were talking about this during real training camp, and I told him, you know, people at 36 will say, I don't know what to expect from Kobe, but you and Michael Jordan, because I had a chance to guard both of you guys, the best footwork, the best preparation, your mental approach. Yeah, your physical gifts may leave you at some point in time, but you always will have them. That's why you'll always separate yourself from other shooting guards. How are you approaching this training camp versus others with coming back from two of the serious injuries that you had?
Well, you know, this camp is, you know, we've done so much conditioning. You know, I think that's been the main focus of this camp is conditioning and you know, defensive footwork. You know, so from my standpoint, it's really been about, besides that, just kind of getting out and playing and getting a good feel, you know, bumping and grinding sort of thing. I mean, it's been a year and a half or so. It felt like I've been able to play, right? So there's only but so much individual stuff you can do until you get out there on the floor and, you know, and have contact.
I got a question. I know you. I've known you for years as the Black Mamba. Is there such a thing as a black camel? Because you were the only one who, with all that running, you were the only one that never made it over for anyone. I know why. You got the body armor, but I mean, how are you feeling at this? This has, like you mentioned, it's a lot more running than we ever did.
It's crazy. I mean, this is the most challenging camp I've ever had, and by far. So. You know, but also, you know, there's been so many advances even since we played in nutrition and hydration and rest and things like that. There's so many things to take advantage of that I feel like players now, if they're committed to it, can be at a higher level for a longer period of time.
So tell us, how do you feel? This was your seventh practice. How does the body feel? How does the knee feel? How does the Achilles feel?
Yeah. Achilles feels fine. Like it's not even a factor. I don't even think about it. The knee, I don't even think about it. It's more just kind of like that good pain where, you know, it feels like you have blocks of cement in your quads and in your hamstrings.
We saw that in that one-on-one drill where you have to guard everyone.
Oh, my God. Listen, if there was such a thing as running in quicksand, right, that's it. I mean, to the point where you're laying in bed at night and you have the covers. And it hurts. The covers hurt. The comforter hurts. Like, you know, that's crazy.
That's a real training camp behind the scenes. We saw you interact with the rookie Randall in true veteran fashion. Our cameras happened to be off when you were actually giving him some instruction he needs. What's your conversation with him and any of the rookies been like mostly at this point now?
Teaching. A lot of teaching. You know, we've been very fortunate because we played with, you know, some of the greatest coaches of all time, Phil and Tex Winter, and how they taught the game and the angles through which they saw the game. Right. And so, you know, a major part of my responsibility here is teaching that to the young guys, and Randall in particular, because he can be something special.
Tell us about Nick Young. Obviously, unfortunate with the thumb injury.
Yeah.
He said it was guarding you one-on-one. You're the man of steel. When he hits you, he breaks his thumb.
Yeah.
Tell him it's the setback of that and going forward.
Well, you got to move his feet on defense. I mean, that's the lesson to be learned. You reach, and you're going to get hurt. Right?
Okay.
No, but I think when I talked to him yesterday after the MRI, it was important that he looks at it as he's got to find some type of silver lining in it. Mm-hmm. And although he can't use his right hand, he can still use his left. Mm-hmm. And he has to use his time to figure out how to get better. Mm-hmm. Right, and so as he's sitting out here, he'll now do a lot of talking. A lot of film work, and he has to improve on the mental aspect of the game. So then when he comes back, he feels like he's more knowledgeable than he was when he left. So you got to use it as an opportunity to get better.
We go back to the start of the real training camp here. We had a shot of you and Byron Scott checking in before practice started, looking over the practice plan. We wanted to be a fly on and listening to that. Couldn't get in there at that point, but at the end, you guys had quite a little laugh, and you pointed at something. Was that the running, or was that?
Yeah, that was that easy run that we started practice with.
Oh, okay, so you knew it was coming.
Yeah, that's the one that I love to hate.
Yeah. It's nothing easy about it, right?
Oh man, it's a tough one.
Yeah. Tell us about this team here now. The expectations are high. We got a chance to talk to Mitch Kupchak. I know where your mind is. It always it's with these Larry O'Brien trophies and the banners. How do you guys reach that? How do you sell that and get that through to these young players that have never won a championship? They don't understand the commitment it takes to get there.
Well, you're setting the tone the first day of practice, and you can't communicate that verbally. Mm-hmm. So when Byron came out in the first 20 minutes of practice, he set the tone immediately by doing an easy run for 20-some minutes, right? So now all the silliness left practice, right? All the, we're going to come in here and, we try to do what we can, that left.
Yeah.
Because now it became a matter of survival, right? So when you come into practice now, you're thinking about surviving, and you have to have a serious focus about it because it's going to be really, really challenging. And I think by doing that, that's how you start changing the culture.
Yeah, but at 36, your best player, and I said you're top 10 of all time, and if people want to argue, okay, top 15, but you're winning the drills, you're winning the 17s, and you're winning the suicides. I don't know if that's good for the Lakers or bad for the Lakers that at 36 you're doing this.
Are they just scared of you?
Yes.
I know they're probably scared of you.
Certainly the guards can get up there and challenge you, but how is your best player at 36 winning the 17 drills?
Well, because, it's not, 17 drills aren't a matter of speed.
But it's all about will. But you would think the point guards would be up there.
They don't have a stronger will. It's like when you go from sideline to sideline, there's only but so much speed you can have. So now, if you're in condition, which I've been working hard all summer with, you just stay close.
And
take it over.
Yeah,
the last two you can just kind of put on the afterburner.
Right. So. Is that the plan for this team this all season long? Stay close? Take it over at the end?
The plan is to really figure out mentally how we can pick teams apart. And that's a big challenge because we have so many young guys who haven't had that experience and understanding how to scheme together as a group. And so it's going to involve a lot of preparation, a lot of patience, a lot of film work to get guys to understand why things happen on the basketball court. Mm-hmm. And, we have our work cut out for ourselves, but we're up for it.
Quick start out of the gates. A lot of teams with up-tempo pace, a pace that you guys played last year. Style of play, living defensively, mindset first. A lot of scoring has been absent now. Powell's gone. Jody Meeks is gone. Nick is on the bench. Are you going to take it upon yourself to return to this team the offensive punch you left a year and a half ago with?
No, first of all, we're really going to look to just ground and pound.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know what I mean? And try to keep defenses in. Mm. You take long shots, long rebounds, leads to fast break opportunities. We can potentially wear our legs down doing that. So we want to try to keep the defense in. And as far as myself, man, I'll just take what the defense gives me. Right? If they believe I'm playing from a rocking chair and they let me post up in single coverage, I'm gonna wear their ass out. They come down in double, then I find the open guy. And, it's just it's my responsibility to try to draw double teams. So I have to be efficient enough for teams to come and get me, and then I have the responsibility to make the right play from there.
Stay healthy. Good luck. But we have one question. We saw your Instagram, and we were wondering if we can catch a ride. Can we go to that real quick? I mean, really, this is balling right here. I mean, I know Rick usually takes a helicopter to the studio and stuff, but this is how you do it when you're big time.
Man. Yeah, anytime you guys want to ride, just let me know.
All right. You got tape of it now. You took that tape. Good to see you, Kobe.
Appreciate it, Kobe. Good luck, brother.
Hey, when's the documentary come out?
It's looking like mid-December.
Okay, good. Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Well, this is it. Real training camp, Rick. We did it.
Hey, we did it.
The LA Lakers.
Man.
Yeah, you got to check out NBA.com for the latest league news and exclusive videos. Stay tuned for NBA TV